Well, hello, YouTube. Welcome to another evening answering your lawn care questions. This is the official Ron Henry Golf Course Lawn live stream. My entire mission for being here this evening is to serve you, to hang out, talk about what's happening in your lawn, and answer your lawn care questions. So it's definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys have in store for me. It's been an interesting couple of days, man. It's the past week. I'm not sure how many of you guys have been following the series that I started filming as far as dormancy in the lawn, but the grass is starting to fall off. I actually put up my first YouTube story today. I got approved for YouTube stories, so I did my first one today. And I'm not sure if you guys actually saw it, but I showed you guys what the lawn's looking like, and it's still looking pretty good. Still green, but it's the love is definitely falling away. So good. Let's see where everybody's coming from to this evening. I recognize some of the names. B.A. Ames is the first one I think in tonight. He was in here early. Thanks for the kind words, sir. I truly appreciate it. You had that question about, or that said you want to see some content around perennial rye and Kentucky bluegrass. So yeah, we can definitely talk about that some. And we got some other questions here. Monique Jones in the house. Yeah, hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, so Monique Jones and Brett are the new owners of a True Cut reel mower. So yay for that. Another convert to the golf course lawn madness. So I definitely got to get over there sometime and check out the new hardware for sure. But yeah, guys. So I guess let's start getting into your questions. I guess the first one we have here, while we're waiting for the channel to continue to fill in, comes from Rafael Quinones, and he has a question. It's a pretty typical question around leveling. He says, "Hey, when leveling, can sand and soil be mixed and placed?" Absolutely, Rafael. So if you've been following the series, you'll know that this year when I top dressed my lawn, I've done it twice this year. The first time was a sand soil mix. It was 70% river sand, 30% compost. And the second time I top dressed the lawn was with 100% river sand. So you can absolutely mix both. There's no issue with that whatsoever. The one thing I will say, unless you're really wanting to mix soil with the sand, something you might try, and I think I'm gonna start recommending this going forward, that you might consider doing instead of mixing the sand with the soil, is to do 100% river sand. But if you have a Site 1 in your area, incorporate Carbon Pro G instead of the soil mix, because that's going to do a couple of things. One, you're going to put some really, really rich compost and biochar into the soil, so you're going to help feed it, which is kind of what we're trying to do when we do a sand soil blend. And you're lessening the chance of introducing weeds and other nastiness into your lawn when you do that, because that's a common thing you're going to find when you mix sand and soil. The likelihood of you bringing in weeds. In my case earlier this year when I did that, I had a big spurge outbreak near the front patio that I had to take care of. So unless you really want to do soil with the sand, I would consider using Carbon Pro G or some other product along those lines that helps feed the soil along with 100% sand mix. So cool. Let's see what we got in the house here. So we got Prosper, Texas, checking in Gainesville, SoCal, the usual suspects. All right, looking good. Hope that helps, Raphael. If you have any other follow-up questions, definitely let me know. But yeah, hopefully that helps you with your question on soil and sand. And one thing I'd say is, if you're going to do that, I wouldn't start now. Now is still a little bit depending on your grass type, I should say. I don't even know what kind of grass type you're dealing with. But if you're dealing with a warm season grass like Bermuda, your Zoysia, or Centipede, now it's too late in the year to really go for that. In most climates, at least in the United States anyway. If you're somewhere further south, you can probably still do it. But if you are in the United States, we are getting into fall weather, so I wouldn't recommend top dressing your lawn. Yeah, guys, so let's see what we got. We have Jamrika in the house, Torbulo, Timothy, Saul, Alan, Josh. Again, the usual suspects, the usual crew, the band of misfits checking in. Josh, awesome, man. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I really appreciate it. Josh, kicking it off tonight, man. I really appreciate your help and support with the channel. And as far as the channel goes, guys, a couple things. One thing I did do that I as promised is late last week I updated the blog. So the blog you guys see up here in the upper right hand corner that kind of hangs out all night, ron-henry.com/golf course lawn. I updated the guide that's on there. So as far as like I have two calendars or two general calendars. One is just a very, very light, very basic one that's primarily based around Milorganite or a single type of fertilizer. And the one that's further down towards the bottom of the blog post is where you're going to see where I'm talking about, pre-emergence and your plant growth regulators and just a much more aggressive fertilization schedule, something that's more along the lines of what I do. You guys will notice that I did not mention any of the carbon products in there as yet because I'm probably going to do a separate post to talk about those. But as promised, I told you guys I would, and I did last Sunday. I updated the blog post. So if you want to see what kind of a calendar you can use next spring to update your lawn to kind of get you on the right path, check out that URL, ron-henry.com. /golf course lawn. Also, if you ever have questions that aren't answered in any of the videos that I do, or if you shoot me a chat, like a comment, I don't answer it within a day or two, feel free to also email your questions to me. Feel free to drop me an email there at ron-henry.com. If you hit me up there, I try to check emails and get back within 24 hours. So feel free to use that as well if you have any questions, particularly if you get like a soil test that makes it and you want some advice around like what kind of products you can apply. Definitely hit me up there, and I will do my best to be of service. Again, my goal is to help you guys create your golf course lawn. All right, so let's get into some of the questions. Let's see what we got going on here. Monique says she bought her reel mower from Reel Works on recommendation. Yep, so good. I'm glad to hear that. Congrats on the True Cut, man. It's a good mower. And then, so the first question we have here is from Alexander Thomas. He says, "Hey, Ron, do you fertilize every 4 weeks or every 6 weeks?" So I fertilize monthly. Again, that link that I put down there, I'll actually type it here in the chat for you guys that want to check it out. ron-henry.com /golf course lawn. So if you check out that URL, at the bottom of that, you're going to see a schedule, fertilization schedule that mimics what I do. Now, the thing I will say, and I kind of put in big bold letters that is a real, I want to say this just qualifier or something, a statement I'm using to qualify following that schedule, is you must use plant growth regulator. Like, you will absolutely hate life if you do what I do, but you're not also using PGR to help regulate that growth. Nitrogen, the lawn, Bermuda grass lawn needs, a pound if you're of nitrogen per month. If you're collecting your clippings, 1.5 pounds, so 1.5 pounds of nitrogen per month. So I try to do that monthly. Instead of like hitting the lawn with a super heavy dose and just kind of letting that ride out, kind of like with PGR, once I start regulating the lawn, I don't want it to really come out of regulation until the season's over. Once I start feeding the lawn with nitrogen, I want to give it a steady diet of nitrogen monthly. So every 4 weeks is when I do it. You don't technically have to do that. You can get away with 6 weeks. A lot of the fertilizers that you can apply will more than feed the lawn for 6 weeks. But I kind of have a schedule where at the beginning of the month I know, hey, it's fertilizer time, it's carbon time. Now that I'm doing carbon, and it's my growth regulator time. So it's just an easy schedule for me to remember to be very consistent in what I apply to the lawn. So hope that helps. And definitely let me know what kind of grass type you have, what kind of grass type you're working with, Alexander. Just I'm always curious to find out about that. Let's see. So we have a question. Next question up here we have from Mauro Marcilio. He says, "Hey, Ron, what applications would you recommend prior to a day of rain?" So if you're going to get rain, like today in Georgia, it's raining, anything that needs to be watered in. So if you're putting down a granular fertilizer the day before or the night before, you're going to get rain the next day, that would be a good idea. If you're going to put down like a Class A type PGR or any kind of growth regulator that's absorbed through the root that needs to be watered in, that would be good to put down before. If you're putting in pre-emergent, a liquid pre-emergent, those are good to put down so you can get them into the turf so they can form that in the soil, they can form that barrier. So a lot of things. Really, the only things that you really want to avoid are any products that you'll put down that are absorbed through the plant leaf, that are absorbed foliarly. So if you're putting down like certain iron supplements to lawns where they will put where the uptake is through the leaf, you wouldn't want to put that down right before a heavy shower because you might not get the full benefit of it. Again, most of those products typically within 4 to 6 hours, like most of the uptake happens, so you're probably going to be good. But to get the most out of it, you wouldn't want to put those down if you're going to get a heavy rain right after application. This isn't really necessarily related to your question, but it kind of along the lines of something you want to apply when it comes to rain. Like the one of the herbicides that I really like, the selective herbicide that's also pre-emergent, Spectricide, like that's something you would apply when right after the grass is wet. So like say it rained this morning, right? And you're not going to get rain for another 24 hours, 48 hours. Like that's the kind of product, that would be a good time to apply that kind of product. So any products that require the product to stick to the leaf, where dew help, where a little bit of water on the plant helps with that. That's where like right after a rain might make sense. But pretty much to answer your question, anything that needs to be watered in, like most granular fertilizers, your carbon products. Definitely throw them down right before the rain, and it's just gonna save you from watering, if that makes sense. Hopefully that helps answer your question. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know. Hit me up. Let's see. So Russell M from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm guessing Birmingham, Alabama, but I think it's the only Birmingham. I think there's probably one in England, but I think you're probably coming from Alabama. He says he finally got his potash delivery from Amazon. Is it not too late to apply it? Is it? Nope. You can still put it down. You can still apply it. Because, I mean, you're trying to fix I'm guessing you're putting down potash in response to your soil test results. Like as we get closer to frost, so if we were in November when things are really shutting down, I might not want to do it then. That's when you want to use what most people call their winterizer, like your more nitrogen heavy fertilizers. But we've still got enough time now where if you want to get that down to begin fixing the soil, again, I'm guessing that if you're asking specifically about potash, there's something in your soil test results that say you're a little bit low on potassium. That's why you're doing it. But yeah, get it down. I mean, we still have some growth left, guys. Just because the weather's starting to get cool, warm season grass is starting to slow down, but doesn't mean you stop feeding it. Doesn't mean that you can't apply any of your products, especially ones that you're applying because you're trying to amend some kind of deficiency in your soil. So definitely, get that done. Hope that helps. I'm glad you found that useful, Raphael. So Ned asked a question. He said, "What did you say here?" You said he had his He said he put down his tall turf type fescue. It's so hard for me to say it. I don't know why that always gets me every single time. It's coming in nice. He's growing in good. We put down some nitrogen with some Carbon Pro G. Good on you. I'm sure your lawn is loving you for that. When would it be safe to use my striper again? You already mowed 2 times. When you say striper, I guess you're talking about some kind of attachment that you put on your mower. If that's what you're talking about, you're good to go now. I mean, if you're mowing the lawn, like laying it down, like striping the lawn is not gonna. I mean, that is less damaging to the grass or less traumatic to the grass than actually cutting it is. So you're good to start striping away now if that's what you'd want to do. No issue there. And then BA Ames makes a good point here. He's talking about Carbon Pro G. He says, how often can we apply Carbon Pro G? $35 isn't too bad for what it does. So I actually reached out to the guys at Miramichi Green and asked them that. And really, I think the number he told me is that whenever you get to around 100, and they're testing, when you get to around 120 pounds per 1,000 square feet applied, that's when you reach about the saturation point. So the long short of the answer is that none of us are anywhere near that. It'd probably take you 3 to 5 years of regular applications to get up to that. And you can apply Carbon Pro G pretty much year round. Now, remember, Carbon Pro G, there are 3 major components to it. You've got the biochar, you've got the compost, and then you've got the microbial package, the one that's in this is in the BioSpectrum that you guys saw me apply in a couple of sessions ago. That microbial package isn't really going to activate if the weather's super cold. Like if your soil temps are below 50, 55 degrees, they're not going to really be doing a whole lot, but it's not like they go away. Once spring hits, you're going to get benefit from it. So I am going to be applying Carbon Pro G to my lawn this weekend. That's definitely going down this weekend again. And I mean, I'm going to keep applying it, throughout the season. I mean, really, your limit on it is based on budget. Like how much money do you want to spend on putting carbon in your lawn? The reason why I push that product so much and why I'm really become such a huge fan of it is, unlike a lot of liquid products, with the biochar that you're putting in, it stays in the soil. So you're going to benefit from it now, and in the spring, you're going to benefit from it. So you get better water retention, greater nutrient uptake. There's just a whole lot of benefits, a lot of reasons to doing it. I mean, it's almost like it's not almost, it is. You are investing in the healthier soil, which is going to produce, great grass. So the short answer is, as much as you can stand to put into it, by all means, go for it. Lincoln Project has a question. He says, This spring or summer, I plan to overseed my common Bermuda with Arden 15. Will the Arden 15 ever take over? Okay, so the couple of misconceptions. What you'll find is the Arden 15 is not, and this is a great question because Frankie, who often is often asked really great questions in the comments, brought this up. Is that the idea of the Arden 15 taking over, meaning it overrunning and choking out the common Bermuda, is highly unlikely to ever happen. What we're looking for is that when you put down the Arden 15, that it grows evenly throughout the lawn. So in other words, instead of it being like a patchwork where you've got like Arden 15 growing here, and then some here, and then some here, what we're aiming for when you're overseeding is to get it to grow everywhere in the lawn. So what you end up with is kind of like what those blends, those seed blends that you find at Home Depot, where it's a blend of different grass types. Like, you'll get like Kentucky bluegrass and like some tall type turf fescue. Did it, you guys. In that mix, that's what we're going to end up with. You're going to end up with some common Bermuda and Arden 15. Now, as far as color goes, I know that Arden 15 matches with Tifway 419 fairly well. I'm not sure how it's going to do with common Bermuda, but again, once you get it spread throughout the lawn, where it's pretty much growing in everywhere, you're going to get an overall even look is what you're after. So it's not likely to ever take over to where the common Bermuda is going to go away. But what you end up with is a hybrid lawn where you've got Arden 15 and common Bermuda growing together. So that's going to be a thing. The one thing I would tell you is that during transition periods, so whenever the lawn is going into dormancy or coming out of dormancy, that is when you're going to see the most color differences. Because like with my lawn, where that's been overseeded with Princess 77 twice in previous years, and then this year Arden 15, when the lawn was coming out of dormancy in the spring, you could really see the Princess 77 areas greening up a little bit sooner than the Tifway 419. Now, once you get into like late April, early May, you get consistent heat, it's going to even out. It's going to look really good. You're not going to really be able to easily visually see the differences once there's heat and everything is growing. But going into dormancy, coming out of dormancy, there are going to be some slight color differences while that grass is spreading, while it's kind of evening out and growing throughout the entire lawn. So just keep that in mind if you are planning to oversee. Again, the best result that you'll get as far as even color without any, to getting the most even grass color like overall, is to kill your current grass and then put down seed. But if you're not willing to do that, like I wasn't willing to do that, just realize that there is going to be a period where there's going to be, a blend, so to speak. So just as long as you know that, you're good to go. Grace Ortiz, hey, welcome. Glad you're new here. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the live stream so far, be sure to punish that like button. It sends good signals to the YouTube algorithm, lets them know that, hey, people are enjoying the content, and maybe they'll send some more in to hang out with us, which always makes the stream better. The more the better, right? Chris, you're very, very welcome as far as answering your questions and taking care of the lawn info. Let's see. We have Cedric Gilbert, Ron, the mad scientist, step-by-step comprehensive guide. Yeah, guys. So yeah, check out. You make a good point as far as integrating carbon products into it. I am going to do that. Give me maybe not. I'm not going to promise by the end of the weekend, but let's say I'll set the goal by the time of the next live stream next Friday. I'm going to have that post. I'll either have another post done, or I will update that post to add a section referencing carbon, and then I'll update the lower section there with the calendar to reflect that as well. Because you are right. I mean, omitting carbon is not really fair to you guys. I mean, in that, 'cause that's a big part of what I'm doing in the lawn these days. So fair enough. Good point. I will definitely do that. Let's see. So we have a question here from Frankie Edelbert. Is there a decent site that will ID a grassy weed in my lawn? I've tried the local university extension, but can't get a response. Thanks. Frank, I'm not sure. As far as websites go, someone might chime in the comments as far as like a good site. I'm not sure on that. What you might do is if you have a site one near you, or a local any local like a Pike's nursery or something like that, take the weed to them. Like pull one warning and then take it to them, and they might be able to tell you. Especially like a site one or a place that sells a lot of selective herbicides. Like a lot of their products, what they do is killing weeds, right? So it might be, it's worth a shot. I don't know of any websites per se that I can recommend, but that's a good question. I'll make a note to look that up so that next week, whenever you guys have that question, I'll be able to recommend one. A website for weed identification. Great question. I don't have one for you, but I mean, go to a local SiteOne or any of your local places that sell herbicides that cater to lawn care professionals, and they might be able to help you out. That'd be the best advice I can give you. But I will work on looking up a site for you as well. Wayne from Indiana checking in. Good. Thanks for joining, man. So we got Timothy Wolf in the house as well. Timothy has a question. He says, I use Milorganite currently, and it's getting so hard to get. With Carbon Pro G, how's the supply? Always in stock? So now here's the thing. Milorganite and Carbon Pro G are different. Like, they're both organic products, but Milorganite is a fertilizer, and Carbon Pro G is a soil amendment. So they are different in that, just to make sure we're clear on that. As far as Carbon Pro G, I've always been able to get it. The Carbon Pro G, I believe, is distributed only through SiteOne. Someone can check me on that, but I'm pretty sure SiteOne is the exclusive distributor for the Carbon Pro G product. Carbon Pro G is essentially the carbonized PN product that Miramichi Green made, and they basically took carbonized PN, turned it into a prill, and then also added a microbial package to it to improve its effectiveness. But as far as it being in stock, every time I've gone to SiteOne, they've always had it. So as long as you go to a SiteOne, they're going to have it, or they're going to be able to transfer it in, because again, they're like the exclusive people that carry the stuff. So they should be able to get it for you. Milorganite being harder and harder to get. Yeah, that's been a thing. I mean, I've noticed. I think a lot more people are getting like hip to Milorganite, like people that are just not necessarily super into their lawns, or even people that are just trying to get into their lawns. I mean, Alan Hain, the lawn care dad, has really made Milorganite really popular. So that and he's a pretty big following. So I'm sure that also contributes to Milorganite getting bought up a lot more. But also be sure to check out other places. So don't only go to your big box stores, so like your Home Depot and Lowe's is where you normally think about for getting Milorganite, but check out Walmart. Walmart often sometimes has it, and their prices can actually be a little bit lower than what you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's. So just another avenue that you can explore to be able to get that. I mean, the cheapest I've ever paid for Milorganite was at Walmart. I think last year I was able to buy it at like $11 a bag. So it was like definitely a lot cheaper, like $2-3 cheaper than Home Depot or Lowe's. So, definitely check out your other places. We got Maryville, Wayne Chandler in the house. One and only Mr. X, Mr. Trying to Kill His Grass is checking in. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? I really appreciate the kind words, guys. So we have another endorsement here for Carbon Pro G. So Ned G saying, it's the shiznit. Been using it all summer. Really helped during the summer. Drought, stress. My lawn barely went dormant with minimal watering. And guys, I can tell you, so compared to like right now, how my lawn is looking, like it's starting to go dormant. The green sheen is slowly going away, but the color is a lot more even throughout the lawn, and it is staying green longer, and I gotta hand it over to the Carbon, man. I mean Carbon Pro G, like in the test that you guys have seen that I did on the in the YouTube videos, like it definitely helps with the lawn retaining color. It definitely produces a deeper color, and looking at my lawn, it's definitely doing better this year. This is like definitely the best year for the lawn, compared to years past. And I'm really not doing that much different in the lawn than I've done in the past, other than this year I've been heavily incorporating Carbon products, primarily like Carbon Pro G. And I've got a treat coming out for you guys here soon. So I've got a video that I did that's going to do a price breakdown on what it costs to apply all these products, because one of the questions I always get is, a lot of these products are super expensive, like, the Miramichi Green products, the Carbon Pro G product, the Carbon Pro L, they're really expensive. So what I do is I took it's like a 16-minute video. So I'm trying to make it as short as I could, but I added some background music so you don't have to hear me yap the entire time. Hopefully you guys will watch the entire thing. But pretty much what I do is I break down the cost per 1,000 to apply the products, which is really the big thing that you really want to be looking at. Like, you don't want to necessarily look at the actual price you're paying for like a 2.5 gallon jug. You look at what it actually costs you per 1,000 to apply the product, and hopefully some of you guys will find that useful. It was a fun video to make. It's a ton of work to make it, believe it or not. The talking head videos are actually the hardest ones, but I got a request is from Frankie and a couple other people, so I decided to go ahead and do that. It'll be a good resource for some of you guys. Let's see. John D says if you scalp super low, common under half an inch, it'll help the Arden-15 take over. That's a good point. Yeah, so common Bermuda doesn't really like to be cut. Doesn't like to be cut as low as Arden-15. Arden-15 you can cut it half inch all day long, and it loves it. Half inch is good. 0.70 is like money. Like you could maintain that all season, and the grass is going to look great the entire time. So that's a great tip, John. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that you can cut the common a little lower, and that'll help. Again, you're not going to kill the common, but you are going to give the Arden-15 a competitive advantage to spread a little bit faster, which is kind of cool. Monique Jones dropping some questions in the chat. She says, "What is the ideal height to cut Bermuda grass?" Depends on your grass type. Typically for most Bermuda, it likes to be cut at 1.5 inches. I always say that's the sweet spot for Bermuda. 1.5 inches or lower is when you will get you're going to encourage a lot of that lateral growth. You're going to get that really nice dense lawn. Much higher than that, once past like 1.75 inches, 2 inches, it's going to still do fine. Like most people around here cut their lawns at 2 inches or taller. But what you're going to find is the Bermuda is going to look like, the best way I can describe it is like a dirty carpet-like look. You know how like dirty carpet, like it kind of looks like matty, sort of like almost like a dog that hasn't been washed, how it's like fur kind of like knots up, kind of like that. It's never going to look really even and dense and nice. So yeah, if you really want to get the height of cut to 1.5 inches or lower, 1 inch is probably the sweet spot for most people that don't want to be mowing their lawn every other day. So yeah, hopefully that helps. And a big thing that helps with that is the thing that you guys did. You guys just got a real mower. That definitely makes maintaining that height of cut at 1.5 inches or lower easier to do without introducing scalping and just tearing the turf and doing a lot of damage to the lawn in the process. So if you got a real mower, yeah, 1.5 inches or lower is where you want to be as far as height of cut. Definitely. So we have a question here from Guapo187. He says, "Hey, I've been on the fence about the flow zone, cyclone, or typhoon. What made you choose a higher pressure unit?" So here's the thing, and you know what? I should do a review on that because I haven't done a review on the typhoon as yet. I tried both of those products. So I had the Cyclone first because I went to Site One and I said, I want something a little heavier duty for my chaping because I want to start separating what I use for herbicides and pre-emergents versus what I use for like my PGRs and fertilizers. And so I decided to get another backpack sprayer. And they first said, we're going to try out the Cyclone. It's a really good unit. And I tried it out, and the pressure, it just wasn't there, man. I mean, it's an okay unit. But believe it or not, the pressure that comes out of the Chapin, that 24-volt Chapin that I've been using that still runs great, was actually better than the Cyclone. So if you're going to get one, like if you're not going to go for the Typhoon, I would just stick with the Chapin. So if I had to rate them in like the ones that I would buy in order, I would say, here's the thing. The problem is the Cyclone is a little bit more expensive than the Typhoon, so I can't really recommend it. But like as far as like pressure goes, it's like Cyclone and then the Chapin and then the Typhoon by far. The Typhoon is like a monster. The reason why I chose that one is because it puts a product down just really, really nicely. So you get like a really nice a spread of probably about 2 feet is what it puts down. 2 feet, maybe a little bit more than that, depending on how far away the wand is. And pretty much I can apply the product evenly and smoothly and as fast as I can walk. So the biggest thing is I can just apply it faster. So if you're going to choose between the two, if you're on the fence between the Cyclone and Typhoon, definitely do Typhoon. If the Typhoon is a little bit too pricey, you're not sure about that, I would do the Chapin before I did the Cyclone. That would be my recommendation between those units. So hopefully that helps. And also you notice the unit that I have just the Cyclone, the Typhoon 2. I don't have the variable unit. I have the one that's either low pressure or high pressure. So that I think I'm not sure if there's a price difference between them, but I just figure not having a potentiometer on the back of the sprayer is like one less thing to go wrong. It's just it's a high, you got like high pressure or low pressure. So I prefer that. So yeah, hopefully that helps answer your question. And if you guys really want, I will do a review on it, comparing it to the Chapin. There's a lot of good reviews on YouTube already, but I'll do one as well if you guys would like to see that. Let's see. Let's see what other questions we have here. So Grace Ortiz, you're from Virginia, and you have turf type fault tall fescue. Nice. Very, very cool. So yeah, for you are entering like your it's game day for you. It's fall, so your grass is probably really starting to take off and grow in nicely, which is I'm kind of envious of you cool season guys. For us warm season guys, it's kind of guys and gals. It's starting to fall back. So I'm glad to. Thanks for chiming in for sure. Just out of curiosity, for those of you guys that have like your Zoysias or your Bermudas, what are you guys seeing? Are a lot of your lawns already starting to go dormant like mine, or what are you guys seeing? Have you guys being able to get the lawn to hold on a little bit more? Or what are you guys seeing in your lawn? It'll be interesting to hear that. So there you go, guys. So Ned dropped a link there, a message. I'm just catching up here in the chat where he said the lawn forum is a good place to go for weed identification. So yeah, so check that out. Let's see. We have a question here from Kevin UNC97. Is it too late to plant Bermuda sod in bare spots? Sod? No, you can. Here's the thing: you can still put sod down. Like my lawn was sodded literally in winter. They put the sod down in like December, so you can put sod down. The thing that I would say is if you are just trying to fix bare spots to your lawn, let's say you have most of your lawn is Bermuda. Instead of putting sod down, depending on how big your area is, and you haven't told me how much we're dealing with, but I would more quickly take sprigs, dig plugs out of different other parts of your lawn and transplant them to that area and let it grow in that way. Here's the reason why. A big part of why I overseeded my lawn was several years ago when I had the trees removed. The lawn care service that did the tree removal for me put down sod, and it was supposed to be typically 419, and I'm sure it was, but it just never matched. So even between different sod lots of the same grass type, you're not guaranteed you're going to get the same color per se if you put sod down. So what I'd be afraid of, Kevin, is if you went out and you put sod in. I mean, you put it in, it's going to grow, it's going to be fine. It'll root and it'll definitely take off in the spring. But what you might find is when next year when your grass is growing around, you might see color differences between them. So kind of up to you. If you're talking about a big bare spot, a big area, then maybe you want to go for the sod route. But if you want to take a more patient approach, then perhaps pull plugs from different parts of the lawn. Had I known what I know now, I probably would have done that instead of putting sod down to fill in those spots. It's a little bit slower process, but you're pretty much guaranteed that you're going to have an even color overall if you go that route. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, the short answer to your question is yes, you can still do it. My lawn was sodded in the middle of dead of winter, and it still grew in just fine. Just something to consider that was not your question, but something I want you to think about as well. Rayon checking in. Let's see. How about a giveaway for trivia? Fingers crossed. I'm gonna do another giveaway. Probably not tonight because here's the thing. I can't give away like a soil test kit every single week, man. They're not that expensive, but they do cost something. So I'm probably gonna do one. I'm saying monthly, but we might be able to make an argument for every third live stream doing it. How's that? We should be able to do that. Let's see. We have a question here for Pez Guy. He has a question. Does Site One sell retail or do they sell to business trade only? They will sell retail. They'll sell. You can walk into a Site One. Their website is set up for lawn care professionals. So if you go to Site One's website, site1.com, and you try and buy something off of it, you're not going to be able to do that like you can on Amazon. But if you go into your local Site One store, they absolutely will sell you products. They're going to sell. They cater to lawn care professionals, which is why they carry a lot of the good stuff. But yes, you can absolutely go there and get your products. Like when I get my Carbon Pro G, that's where I go. I go to Site One, and those guys hook me up. And as far as if you're looking for any of the more, I won't say exotic, but some of the more exotic herbicides and pre-emergent. So if you want to try out the Spectacle Flow from Bayer, or if you want to try out a really good selective herbicide called Tribute Total, Site One will carry that. And their pricing is actually pretty good. You can get it on Do Your Own too, or Do My Own as well. But their pricing on those products is actually really good. So yeah, so long short. To your question, Pez guys, absolutely. You can go there and they will sell to the general public. No problem with that at all. Let's see, Jeremy, giveaway for that True Cut. Fingers crossed. Are you asking if I'm going to give away my True Cut? I can't get rid of my True Cut, man. I mean, the True Cut got me to where I am. And besides, there's parts of my lawn that I still need the True Cut to cut. I can't as awesome as the Greens Master is. it can't cut off parts of my lawn. Like there's certain areas around the vanity strip, like vanity strip 2.0 near the tree and the mailbox. Like I still got to get that with the True Cut. The area between Alex's lawn and my lawn, the swale area, I also, I got to get that with the True Cut. Near the area by the rocks, the True Cut's good for that. And it's just, it's good. And then when I scalp in the spring, I will use the True Cut for that. I don't want to take the Greensmaster and scalp with that, so I'll use the True Cut for that. So, tell you what, if the channel grows, it gets to be really big. Let's say one day I cross, I don't know, 500,000 subscribers. Let's say I get to be really, the channel is super, like blows up. At that point, we could see about giving away a True Cut or something. But I'm not there yet, man. I'm still coming up. You guys are helping me out. I appreciate the support. But definitely, if the channel gets to that point, we could consider doing something like that. But I've got a long way to go before I can do that. Yeah, so Zach Hughes also chimes in saying, yeah, you can put down Bermuda sod at any time. Yeah, exactly. So like my lawn was sodded in the dead of winter, and it grew in just fine. So yeah, absolutely. So let's see what other questions we have here. So from Rayon Muir, hopefully I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. He says, Ron, I never hear you talk much about how often you water your lawn. Do you have a sprinkler system? Actually, I do. I do have an irrigation system, and I have a video on watering. I do have a video on watering. As far as how often I water, I honestly don't run the irrigation that much. We've been getting rain for the most part, here regularly, so I haven't had to water it a lot. The one time I did start watering my lawn, it was right after top dressing it. So when I did the full top dressing, I was running irrigation in the lawn every other day. I was really trying to get the lawn to come back because I did it in the middle of July. And during the summer, we didn't get a ton of rain. And to kind of help the lawn bounce back, I was watering. But typically, an inch of water is all Bermuda really needs per week. And my general rule is if it rains at all during the week, I'm not watering. I'm not going to water. So for example, it's raining today. It will probably rain tomorrow, I think was what the forecast is calling for. So I don't really need to run irrigation. So, you just really an inch to an inch and a half is what you need. So depending on if you have irrigation, that's a good, a good litmus, a good thing, a good guidance to go by. Don't overwater your lawn. Bermuda does not need a ton of water. And honestly, overwatering can create more problems than it actually helps. You can introduce lawn fungus. You can create just a lot of issues if you put too much water on the lawn. So, hopefully that helps answer your question. And if you look in the channel, I think if you just go to, get on YouTube, search for, Ron Henry and then like irrigation, it should bring up two videos. It's either going to show Alex getting his irrigation installed, or it's going to show my walkthrough of my irrigation system. I actually go through, I talk about all the zones and the run times and all this stuff. So I've got a video completely dedicated to my irrigation system that you guys can check out if you guys like. Let's see what else we have here. We have another question from Chris Balducci. Chris is saying, is there a way to identify what type of Bermuda I have? Only in my house a year, and I don't know what type the builder put down. That's a good question, Chris. I don't know. It's you could call the builder. Can you contact with the builder and ask them? You might be able to ask them and find out what sod they were installing in your area, especially if a builder did a bunch of houses. Typically, they will use the same provider to come and put sod in for that section. So you can find out like who they use. Even if they don't know, they should be able to tell you who they subcontracted doing the landscaping work for your lawn, for your house when they were building it, and they should be able to tell you what kind of Bermuda they put down. So it's probably like a Tifway. It's either if you're in Georgia, it's either probably going to be a Tifway 419 or a Tif Tough. One of those two. That's pretty common. I'm not sure if you told me where you are, where you hail from, but that would be my advice. If you can find out from the builder who they use for their landscaping, that person will definitely be able to tell you what kind of Bermuda was installed on your lawn. Because it's difficult to tell just by looking at the grass types. Let's see what else do we have here. We have one and only Mr. X, Mr. I want to kill my grass. This is guys, if you ever read through my comments, this is like the one person where I get more questions on how to kill grass than anybody else. It's really, really interesting that he's really trying to kill off his lawn. Anyways, his question is, okay, who cuts your grass? Do you do your grass cutting? I cut my lawn, man. I mean, I did 2 videos. There's tons of videos of me like doing time lapse of me cutting the grass. And then to satisfy the question from a viewer, I did a 19-minute video where I didn't do any talking and all you see is me cutting my lawn. So I absolutely cut my own lawn. I enjoy doing it. It's super relaxing. It's like not work. It's not work. It's not karate. And I can put a podcast in or put the news on and just kind of relax and just cut the grass. And it's just super, super relaxing. I enjoy doing it. So yes, to answer your question, I cut my own grass, cut my own lawn. Absolutely. Jeremy says you started your first class for cybersecurity this week, dude. Awesome. If you have any questions while you're going through it, you got my email, so definitely drop me a line. I will do what I can to help you out. The world needs more cybersecurity professionals, so absolutely. Good job, man, picking that. Let's see. Yes, it's hard to tell Bermuda, but it's kind of like what Zach says here. It's probably a TIF Tougher 419. Yep, exactly, because that's what most builders are installing because it's got so many benefits, right? So like the Tifway 419. One thing you got to realize, Tifway 419 is actually a really good Bermuda grass type. Like you guys see me talking about Arden 15 a lot and the Princess 77, but don't be so quick to discount Tifway 419. It is an upgraded Bermuda grass. It comes in before out of dormancy before a common Bermuda will. It's more drought tolerant. It's a really good grass type and it's a really pretty color. Like if you look at Alex's lawn, look at the videos on the Fix My Ugly Lawn series. All Alex's lawn is Tifway 419. It's not been overseeded, and you see how beautiful his lawn is. It's a really nice color. So don't hate on Tifway 419. SMK, so glad you got the soil test kit, man. Awesome. Glad that it finally showed up in the mail for you. And let me know what your soil looks like. As much of a hard time as you always give me in the comments, if I say one little thing wrong, him and Frankie, there's like three of them. They're like the comment police. They make sure that I don't get too far off course. I definitely want to see what your soil test results are. So you got the soil test. Drop me an email once you do it, because I want to see what your soil is like. Because if there's much of a hard time you give me, your soil test results better come back stellar, man. I definitely want to see what that comes in, what you come in with. Oh yeah, Walter Reeves. That's a good point, Alan. Yeah, in Georgia, I forgot about Walter Reeves. He has he's a arborist in Georgia that has a talk radio show. I think he still does it on Saturday mornings, where he talks about on his website that will talk about weeds. So if you're looking for a site to ID weeds, you can try that. But again, I would just go to go to your local site one or any place that sells herbicides, and they should be able to help you out. Let's see what we got here. Timothy is talking about he has new sod and he hears so many things not what to do, what not to do. Any advice? So Timothy, the thing is, if you are for your new sod type, I think you have Bermuda, right? So with Bermuda, it's really, really hard to mess up with Bermuda in a way that's going to be permanent. Bermuda is I can't think of a grass type that is more hardy than Bermuda. That's why Bermuda is the master grass, right? It's the master grass. I mean, it's not as pretty and as luxurious like Zoysia. Anyone that has Zoysia will tell you that Zoysia is that's the champagne of warm season grass. But Bermuda is a really, really good grass in the sense that there's very little you're going to do to it that is going to cause permanent damage. The only thing I'd say is, and this kind of segues into a question I got around pre-emergent. How soon can you apply pre-emergent on a new lawn? Someone was saying that it needs to grow for like 2 seasons. I think that's what I was hearing last week, and that's simply not true. The only I would say is if you're putting in fresh Bermuda, I would give it 6 months before you put down a pre-emergent or any broad herbicides on it. So before you do any kind of blanket spraying of herbicides, give it 6 months. Let the sod root properly and the grass growing really well and to where it's established, and then you can go to town on it. Even though it's brand new, though, the things you can do, like from day one, the stuff you can absolutely do is you can start loading up with that carbon, man. So like the Carbon Pro L, the Carbon Pro G. If you're a Humachar person, you can put that stuff down. But I'm a huge fan of the Miramichi Green products because the price on them, the price for value is there. And it's because unlike a lot of the other products that contain carbon, that also will contain NPK along with the carbon, this stuff is just carbon. So you can do it at any time. And it's one of the best things you can do for your lawn while you're waiting for that sod to get established. So hope that helps. But you got Bermuda, man. There's very few things you can do to Bermuda to really mess it up. Even when you try and kill Bermuda, you can't really kill it. So I wouldn't stress over it too much. Sadie Mack is in. Hey, said thanks for checking in, man. I mean, if you have not checked out Cedric's YouTube channel, check it out. He always has some great content. He's always him and his son are out in the lawn. So check out his content. He's always fun to watch. Guapo, you're very welcome. I'm glad that you are that question that was helpful for you. And you said, so one question you're saying is you have the Chapin, you haven't been satisfied. Huh. So do you have the 24 volt one? Because the one that I have, it's worked pretty well for me. One thing I'll say is that the one difference that I'll say between the Chapin and the flow zone, and this is where the higher pressure makes a big difference. With the Chapin, I get the best result if I use it early in the morning before it warms up and we start getting a little bit more breeze, more wind going across the lawn. Because the pressure is lower, you get more of the product kind of being blown or affected by the wind. With the flow zone, with the Typhoon, the higher end with a higher pressure one, that's not an issue. Literally, it's like it's shooting the product into the lawn. So there's no issue at any time of day when you want to put product down. It's going to be no problem. So, you might want to try that, Guapo. I mean, the Chapin I've had really good results with. I still like mine. But if you want something that's maybe a little higher pressure, a little more high end, and it's going to be a little bit more expensive now, you can go for that flow zone. And if you're going to go for the flow zone, I would do the Typhoon. I would skip the Cyclone completely. The Chapin, in my opinion, is better than the Cyclone. It is not as good as the Typhoon, but the Typhoon is going to be a lot more expensive. So you get what you pay for. But let's see what else we got here. SMK, he says his lawn is green right now and he's dominating his neighbors. Well, I'm sure. I believe that, man, because you always have really, really good comments. So I'm sure you are doing really good to keep your lawn in check. Mine is still staying pretty green right now, and it's holding on even with temperature starting to drop. So that's good. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? Let's see. We have Stephen Clayton in the house. He says, hey, my Bermuda is a hybrid 419. It's still green, but I stepped up the watering a little bit, still cutting 2 times per week. Okay, so not really a question, but it sounds like you're doing the right thing, Stephen. So watering, make sure you're watering enough. But the biggest thing, man, is mowing. If there's one thing that you absolutely want to get right, is mowing. Like, the more you mow your lawn, the better it's going to look. If there's one thing that is a universal rule for grass, cool season, warm season, doesn't matter. The more you cut it, the better it's going to look. That's the reason why golf greens are mowed every day, because for that high to cut, they got to do it to maintain a good surface, and that's why they're often the best looking parts of the golf course. So the more you cut your grass, the better it's going to look. Let's see. So Moro Morcilio has a question. He says, my test kit results came in. The micros are low. Is it too late to address? If not, what do you recommend? Bermuda and Duluth, Georgia. So Moro, no, it's not too late to address those. What I would recommend is a micronutrient from, it's a micro booster. Hang on, let me put it here. I'll link it here for you. It's from I think it's Simple Lawn Solutions. Let me make sure I got the right link here before I post it for you. And yeah, so this one right here, that's the guy. Bam, that is the micronutrient that I'd recommend. That contains your iron, your zinc, your manganese. It's got a little bit of everything in there. So that is what I would apply to your lawn if you're trying to fix the micros. Yep, that is what I would go with. And no, it's not too late to apply this, because again, they're like the micronutrients, right? So yeah, anything you can do now would be great. Let's see. Grace Ortiz says, how is Alex's lawn coming along? It's coming along pretty well. If you guys want, I will do an update video on that. Here's the thing. I don't like to really put out content where I'm just like making a video just to make a video for video's sake. I want to always make the content useful. But if you guys want, I'll get with Alex and we can shoot an update video so you can see how his lawn is doing during the fall. Yeah. So if you guys just want to see that, definitely give me a hashtag AlexYes in the chat, and I will know that you guys want to see that, and we will work on getting it done, because we haven't given you guys an update on that lawn in a while. So I'll definitely take care of that. Let's see. We have some more questions here. Let's see. Alan is talking about his lawn is pretty much turning brown. Okay, well, I mean, that's happening. Some people are talking about their height of cuts, 0.75. Let's see. Alan asks, why do you never show your right side of your lawn? Which right side? I'm pretty sure I show my entire lawn, but I can, if you want. I'm not sure which side you're talking about. I mean, if you're talking about the part where the side where the rocks is, I mean, in my latest video, I think I showed that, but if you want, I will, what I'll do is since I've got like YouTube stories now, I will shoot a quick video tomorrow. Like I'll walk around that section and I'll just post those. So hopefully if you guys get my stories, I think YouTube has to push them out or you can just look for them. You'll be able to see that part. But yeah, I show my entire lawn. There's nothing that, I mean, there's a couple of brown areas where a tree was growing in that was causing the grass to turn a little brown. But yeah, I think I show the entire lawn. But definitely let me know. If you're talking about the front lawn, let me know. And if you're talking about the back lawn, let me know. And I'll get you some footage of it so you guys can see what it is looking like. I'm not hiding anything from you guys. I want you guys to see how the lawn is doing. No need to hide anything. Because when I learn, you guys learn. I don't have anything to hide from you guys. Let's see. A question from Grass Groomer. He says, "Are you a fan of Green Country Fert product that some of the other YouTube channels have been pushing?" I've never used any of their products. I've never used it, so I can't really say. I mean, I'm open to trying it. I guess I could reach out to them and see if they would, what I can do as far as like getting some of it to try out and, doing a review on it. I've never using their products. Kind of like I always get questions on a lot of Anderson's products. I've never tried any of their ferts, so I can't like levy an opinion on that or get up publicly and say anything negative or good about it, positive or bad. I'm sure they're fine. I mean, you're not going to stay in business if you're selling bad lawn care products. But no, I've never tried it. I'm sure they're probably good products. I mean, but I personally have not used them. So, and I'm not going to recommend something that just because, like I can make, affiliate money of it. The thing with me when it comes to fertilizer is I tend to try and pick up what I can buy locally. And for me at Site One, I can get you can get like some fertilizers from Lebanon Turf, which is the ones I really like. And at my local Central Turf and Irrigation, I can get, for the fertilizers that I like. So it just depends on what your approach is. For me, I don't really like to order fertilizer. I want to go pick that up. So that's why I use the fertilizers that I use. If you look, the products that I recommend as far as fertilizers are ones that I literally, most of you guys would have trouble getting unless you go to a Site One because you can't buy them online. But yeah, I mean, it's a good point, and it's probably something I should consider. I tried out one of the ones from Pennington that I think it has a lot of promise. That's what I'm going to start recommending for people because a lot of times if I'm always showing like the Lebanon Turf products and people can't get them, that doesn't do anyone really any good. But no, I guess it's a long drawn out answer to your question that no, I have not used their products. I don't really have an opinion about them. I'm sure they're fine, but I have not used them. So I can't say for sure. Let's see what other questions we have here. Let's see. So here you have one endorsement for it. You have Zach saying he used Green County's Air 8 and RGS this season. My lawn has never looked so good. So there you go. You got someone that has used their products and has had great results with it. So it might be worth giving their stuff a look. I've just personally not used it, but I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're fine. Let's see what other questions we have here. We're catching up. We talk about people. Can you mow a bumpy lawn with a manual reel mower? Yes, you can. I did it. I absolutely did it. Another question here from B.A. Ames. What's your opinion on Green County fertilizer? I've not used their product, so I can't comment. So, but again, I probably should reach out to them. I've gotten that question several times, both in my videos that I post online, and I guess here in the live stream, everyone wants to know about them. So I'll find out, and I will give you guys my honest opinion. I'll reach out to them and see what they say. It's a good question, man. So we got 48 people watching the live stream, well 42 now, and only 17 likes, guys. So if you guys are enjoying the content, give me a like, guys. It's not that hard. Just move that mouse up there and just click like. Super easy to do. Helps me out. Helps YouTube know that you guys are enjoying the content, and it's good for the algorithm. It's a very free way to support the channel, support the content. Let's see. We had someone talking about having a Fisker's reel mower, and they cut it 2 inches, but he had some issues with that. DJ Kid asks, have I ever visited New Jersey? I have. I've been to New Jersey a couple times. I've been to Cherry Hill. I've been to a couple of places. I've been to Newark. Yeah, I've been to Jersey a few times, just mainly for work. But yeah, absolutely. I have visited Jersey. Lakers or Heat? Actually, neither. Rockets. Rockets are my team. Let's see. I'm looking for other questions here. What have we got? Let's see. Cedric makes a point here about the flow zone. He says, I've had the flow zone now for about 2 months, and that thing is a beast. It's expensive. However, it's worth the investment, and the parts for it are readily available. That's a good point, Cedric. I forgot to point that out. With flow zone, with them, they use a lot of common, I won't say necessarily common parts, but like the pump that's in them are parts that you can find, you can order online and replace that if you need to. The unit can be disassembled by you and serviced by yourself if you need to. So that's one big advantage for them. I mean, I can't see you really having problems where you're going to need to be doing a lot of that, but it's if being able to work on your stuff yourself is something you care about, that's another feather in the cap for Flow Zone. So yeah, absolutely, I would another good endorsement there for their sprayers. Let's see, Josh has a question about PGR. He says, how long after PGR can the kids and dogs go on it? I would give it a day. So if you apply PGR, let's say you're using like T-Nex, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Let's say you tomorrow morning you went out and you applied T-Nex on the lawn. I would let it sit for a day just to be absolutely safe. Really, once it dries on the leaf, you're pretty much good to go. So really, if you're talking about like at a bare minimum, 4 to 6 hours is probably a safe bet. But just to be super safe, kind of like what all the lawn care guys, when they spray anything on the lawn, they'll tell you, keep pets and people off the lawn for 24 hours. That's going to be very, very safe advice. That's going to be fine. So yeah, 1 day, but in a pinch, 4 to 6 hours is fine. As long as what you apply on the grass dries, as long as the T-Nex is dry, you're pretty much good to go. Pretty much good to go. Let's see. Pez Guy, this is a great question. He says, how often should you do soil tests if you're trying to get numbers up? How quickly does the soil respond to fertilizer, lime, potash, etc.? It's a great question. So, really as far as cadence, I'd say every 3 months is pretty good. Like if you're seriously trying to make big improvements in your soil, let's say you're way off, you're trying to make adjustments in pH and in your NPK levels. I did a test in July, and then or was it June? I think it was June. I did a test in June. Alex did my lawn in June, and then 3 months later, in September, we did a follow-up test. And what you're going to see is a trend over time. And what you're looking for is a trend. So it takes a while to amend the soil. Like it's not like you put down, if your pH is low, for example, you go and you put a heavy lime application down, or if your NPK is low, you put a ton of nitrogen down, and you think in 3 months it's going to be exactly where you need it to be. It's what you're looking for is a trend. So the long short of the question is, how long does it take to respond? It depends, man. It depends on how far off you are. What you're looking for is for the trend to start moving in the right direction is the best I can tell you. So really every 3 months is a safe bet. If you are looking for a soil test kit, the one from My Soil is the one that I really like. If you guys have not seen it, it looks like this. If you're looking for a soil test kit, you can pick one up here. I think I've got a annotation here. So if you go to ron-henry.com/soil test, you can get your soil test kit. I like that one because one, they are My Soil is really, really fast on turnaround. Literally, when I mail a sample out, typically within a week, I have the results in my inbox. So, and that includes like mailing time. So you figure it takes like 2 or 3 days to get to Washington where they are, and they sample it really quickly, and you get your results back. So I am a big fan of theirs. And if you use that link, you help me out a little bit as far as the channel goes. So, but yes, I to answer your question, every 3 months is good if you're trying to make big changes in your soil. If your soil is in great shape, if you test at the beginning of the season, at the end of the season, that's probably fine. But every 3 months is a good cadence if you're trying to measure and make sure that you're going in the right direction. When it comes to doing pH, especially, pH takes a while to change. I mean, most people can't put down enough lime in one setting to make a huge change to their soil pH. So again, what you're looking for is just to change that trend over time. Hopefully that helps answer your question. Let's see, Biggest Brain. Hey, thanks for checking in, man. Good to be back. Thank you for the support. Thanks for chiming in. Let's say Russell says you can't kill Bermuda. Ask the one and only Mr. X. It's just really hard to do. You can kill any grass. It's just really hard. Bermuda is one of those grass types that is just really, really, really hardy. It's just really hardy. So. Let's see. Tom K asks, are you going to continue treatments, carbon or otherwise, once your grass goes dormant? Yes, Carbon Pro G, I will still continue to apply, Tom. That's probably the only thing I'm going to be putting down. I'm not going to do the Carbon Pro L because even though that does have a component that is absorbed through the root, the Carbon Pro L has a splash of iron in it, and that's really going to be uptake. That requires the grass to be actively growing to really see benefit from that. So the Carbon Pro G is what the granular is what I'm going to continue to apply, throughout the fall. Into the winter, I'm going to probably slow down a little bit because I don't want to be out there when it's super cold. But to answer your question, yes, carbon is something I'm going to continue applying to my lawn because I've become a huge believer in it based on the results that I've seen over the summer and what I'm still seeing right now, guys. So hopefully that helps answer your question. And the nice thing is the products that I'm using, like the Carbon Pro G, because there's no NPK in them, you can apply them whenever you want. That's one big benefit. A lot of the other products, a lot of the competition has those macronutrients in it, so you're putting down nitrogen when you really don't need it or when you don't want to, which kind of limits when you can use them. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Alex, yes. Okay, cool. So I got a couple of hashtag Alex yeses. So I will work on getting a video for you guys, a video update. Can absolutely do that. Tom K has another question. A follow-up says, what's your opinion on all these liquid dethatch products? You know what? I'm going to get hate mail for this. So here's the thing. When it comes to liquid dethatch or liquid aeration is another thing that they're talking about. So the way a lot of those work is that you're putting microbes, basically putting a strong microbial package into the lawn, which is those microbes are going to start breaking down like the thatch, and that's the idea behind it. All right. So, and there is merit in that. It absolutely is a real thing that if you add microbes to your turf, to your soil, it does break down organic matter. That's what they do. Microbes are what make your fertilizer and other things that you apply to the lawn work. But what I would not say is liquid dethatching is not a replacement to like physical dethatching. Like if your lawn is literally too thick, like you've got a big thatch problem, you can use liquid dethatching product, but a better and more effective way to get rid of the thatch problem is to get rid of it. Like get a heavy rake and pull them out, or run you can verticut the lawn and rake out a lot of the material that comes up from it. So I'd say that the two are complementary. I would not say that you would do liquid dethatching instead of physical dethatching. It's something you can do in concert with it. So hopefully that's a good answer. And I think it's the most accurate one. I think a lot of these products that say that you apply these products and it's like liquid aeration or it's liquid dethatching and you don't have to dethatch, you don't have to aerate your lawn anymore. Yes and no. I mean they do. I'm not saying that they don't have value. They have a ton of value. They do work. But they don't replace like physically like punching holes in your lawn with an aerator, like using a deep tine and actually physically creating voids in the lawn for water and air and nutrients to get into to kind of help loosen up the soil. Like that's going to break up compaction more so than a liquid dethatch or liquid aeration product. I would use them, but I would also still use physical aeration and physical dethatching as well. Like when you're applying carbon products, especially anything like the Carbon Pro G or like the biospectrum that contains a microbial package, you're essentially doing that. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps answer your question. So I would use them, but just know that there's something to do in addition to the physical work. Hey Bear, new to the channel. Thanks for joining, man. Welcome to the craziness. I appreciate you joining the channel and watching the content. And if I can help out with anything, definitely leave me a comment. Or if you have a direct question that's not answered in any of the videos, feel free to drop me an email right there that just dropped up on the screen. ron@ron-henry.com. That is my email address, and I will help you out in any way that I can. If you have specific questions about like things to apply to your lawn, one thing I will ask is that get a soil test done. So, it doesn't have to be, I'd recommend My Soil because, I like their products and I think they're really good, but it is a lot. I can do a better job for you if you let me know what the soil looks like. If you just say, hey, what fertilizer should I apply to my lawn? I can give you a suggestion of of a broad, fertilizer you can put down that's probably going to be fine. But if you want something that's tailored to your lawn and what's going on with your soil, send me a soil test result along with your question, and you're going to get a much better answer. And it's free. So just, feel free to do that. Take advantage of it. Let's see. Mr. Love has a question. Great job, Ron. Thank you. What are the downfalls of ryegrass? The downfalls of ryegrass, I mean, is that it's not Bermuda. That's the downfall. It's not Bermuda, which is, let's just face it, it's the master grass, right? I think the question you're asking is like, what's the downfalls of overseeding with ryegrass, maybe? If that's what your question is, let's take a minute to talk about that. The reason why, in my mind, why I don't like to overseed Bermuda with ryegrass, again, I'm assuming that's what you're really asking me, is because I don't like the way it looks when it's going into, or more so when it's coming out of dormancy. Whereas you get some color differences when you overseed like Tifway 419 with Arden 15, you get like some slight color differences. With when you mix ryegrass and Bermuda grass, not only do you get color differences, but you also get texture differences. Like ryegrass looks very different to Bermuda. So whenever the rye is going or is trying to die off in the spring, and the Bermuda is coming out of dormancy, your lawn just doesn't look very good. So I am not a fan of it. There are people that do it; they love it. If you want to do that, go for it. But for me, I'm not a fan. I mean, as far as ryegrass, just as far as just the grass type itself, it's fine. I mean, it's if you just have like a ryegrass lawn, it looks great. You can cut it and it can have a really, really nice appearance to it. I think you guys can probably correct me on this, but I think it's either Connor or Ryan I think it's ryegrass in their lawn. So yeah, ryegrass can be pretty awesome. I mean, it's not Bermuda. Let's keep it real. It's not Bermuda, but it's still a good looking grass. I mean, when you can't use Bermuda, get ryegrass, right? And the hate shall come in for that one. Let's see. BA Ames says Anderson's products are way too much money. Stick with Let's Go. Yeah, I mean, I've not used their products, but I mean, just doing a comparison of just reading labels. Again, I am sure Anderson makes a very quality product. I mean, some of the products that I recommend, as far as like some of the fertilizers, I'm sure they're really good fertilizers. But if you're just going based on the labels, it's hard to in my mind anyway, it's hard to justify like paying 3 times the price for a product that by just looking at the labels isn't that much different from the Carbon Pro G product that I like. So and given for me also because I have a larger lawn, I'm doing like almost 12,000 square feet. Like the product has to be somewhat economical, because if I'm going to be applying a lot of it, I don't want to be paying $80 a bag for this stuff. So it's just something to consider. And I realized before you guys tell me a lot of what you see online as far as the cost for Anderson's products in their defense, because I mean, I need to qualify that, is the fact that if you order it online, it's more expensive because just shipping is really, really expensive for their products. So that is something that is what you see online a lot of times for pricing on Amazon or other places has to do with shipping. From what I understand, if you actually were to go to a place that locally sells it, it's not quite so bad, but it still is more expensive than the Carbon Pro G. So there you go. Again, I'm not hating on any manufacturer. I mean, anyone that's making a great product that's not damaging the soil and that's helping to improve lawns, then I am all for. Building great lawns is what we are all about. Let's see what else we talk about here. Let's see. He's talking about the opposite side of the driveway. Okay, so let's see. Alexander Thomas, I think he's talking about the opposite side of the driveway, right side of the house from the street to backyard view. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can do that, man. What I'll do is, as part of the video, whenever I shoot the video update for Alex's lawn, actually, no, I won't do that. What I'll just do is I'll go over and I'll take a picture of it tomorrow, and I'll post that on the community feed, and I'll also use my YouTube story. So if you guys want to see like a little short video, because I can do like YouTube Shorts now, check that out too. Because I'm not gonna make an entire video on like just showing the right side of the lawn, but I'll do that. Part of the reason why you guys don't see me show that portion, that right side so much, is because it's right next to my neighbor. And I don't want to necessarily film and get video footage into their driveway or into their garage or anything like that. I try to be respectful of people's privacy. So that's partially why I typically don't go that far down. Like if you guys go look on the video that I did on leveling the lawn with sand, when I showed using the leveling rake, I filmed that area. But but fair point. I will go up tomorrow and I'll get you guys a picture and also get you guys a YouTube story. So look out for that tomorrow of that section of the lawn. But I can do that absolutely, Alexander, because that actually part of the lawn actually looks really good. So yeah, no issues there. I can do that. No problems. No worries. No worries. BA Ames, I gotta look at that direct stain. You know what? I was talking about that, and we'll see, man. Doing a deck stain just seems so permanent, right? I don't know. If I don't like it, then I'm kind of stuck with it. I'm not sure I'm not sure about that. Let's see. Polinsky TV has a question. He says, "Is a sunshade mix good grass?" So here's the thing: sunshade mix grass types. Typically, what you'll have in there is a little bit of Kentucky bluegrass, some ryegrass, grass types that are a little bit more shade tolerant. But here's the thing: all grass needs sunlight. So whereas Bermuda needs really 6 hours of direct sunlight to be happy to really thrive and do well, these 6 to 7 hours. More is better when it comes to Bermuda. These shade tolerant grasses are, they're still going to need 4 or 5 hours of direct sunlight. So when I say direct sunlight, not like coming through trees, not like, the sun peeks out and I get like a small sliver of sunlight for a few hours, like 4 to 5 hours of direct, like the sun beating down on it with uninhibited sunlight on the grass. And in those cases, those can work better in slightly shaded areas or areas of the lawn that, based on where they are in the house, they don't get as much sunlight. But if you have a part of your lawn where grass just isn't growing, and we've already done our homework where we've checked our soil, the soil health is good, all that stuff is good, then it just might be if you're just not getting enough sun in that area, and even a sun shade mix like the kind you will get at Home Depot, even that's going to be challenging. I mean, it's going to do better than Bermuda, but it's probably not going to be dense and lush like what we're really going for. So, all things, it depends. Polinsky TV. I have to see what you're talking about, but just know that if you need to get direct sunlight. If you're getting direct sunlight, there is hope. If there is no direct sunlight, it's going to be a challenge to get grass to really thrive in that area. Let's see. Grass Gooner, how do you like the phone? My iPhone? I love it. I like my iPhone. It's this was what ran all the videos for the channel for all the seasons up until July when I upgraded to the camera that I'm shooting with you guys on now. So I upgraded the channel, upgraded the video, the content. So hopefully you guys notice it. I mean, here's the thing. Some people notice it, and most people probably can't even notice the difference in the video. Like if you go back and look at my footage from earlier in the season, look at the video content that comes out now, like it looks way better visually. But the one thing I've always tried to have is good sound, which is what most people care about anyway. So anyway, let's get back to some other questions here in the chat. We have Human Ozzy says he has a thin spot in my lawn that will not thicken up. I make sure to apply a product, but I can't figure it out. Full sun all day. Any suggestions? I was thinking about sprigging and transplanting. So here's the thing. If you're getting full sun all day and it's not thickening up, do me a favor. If you haven't yet, do a test. Let's just do a soil test of that area and just make sure that something weird isn't going on there. I mean, one thing you can do too, like a quick and dirty check, is if it's always been that way, like it's always been thin, let's rule out that there's not like a bunch of stones or there's some kind of material that was left when your property was built, when your lawn was built, or when your house was built. So get the way you can do that is get a screwdriver, like get a long screwdriver, and just see if you can drive it into the soil. Make sure it kind of goes all the way down to the handle. If you can do that without issue for a lot of the spots that that area you're talking about, then let's get a soil test done. You can pick one up here, pick up a soil test, and let's make sure that there's nothing weird going on with the soil in that area, because really, if you're getting a lot of sun and that area is just not growing in really well, the next thing I'm going to challenge you on is let's see how healthy the soil is. If the soil is not healthy, then no matter what, the grass is not going to grow. But if it is, if that area is healthy, I mean, sprigging and transplanting is an option. But let's make sure that we're giving the grass the best possible chance to grow in when you do transplant it, by making sure the soil in that area is in good shape. So hopefully that helps. Let's make sure the soil's in good shape. Let's see. Jeremy White has a question. Ron, how would you handle a neighbor that doesn't take care of his or her own lawn? I don't know. I mean, you can't force people to cut their grass, man. I mean, I will say that if someone doesn't cut their grass, they're not mowing their lawn, what you can do is, when it comes to the spectricide, or you're putting down like a pre-emergent or some kind of selective herbicide, you may have to run like a little heavier pass in that area to try and prevent the weeds from encroaching into your lawn. But, I mean, not everybody's into their lawn, right? So it's just, as long as, at least in the, our subdivision, the area we live, is if you're not getting letters from the house association, I mean, what can you do? Not everybody's going to be a super, super hardcore about getting a golf course lawn. For some people, it's just they cut their grass just enough to not get yelled at by the house association. So, it's up to them. I don't, it's really on them. If someone asks me for help, I will more than happy to help out. But if you don't ask me, I am not going to volunteer. I would not recommend you go over to your neighbor whose lawn does not look like your lawn and say, hey man, if you need some advice, if your lawn looks like a weed patch, we can do something with it. I wouldn't do that. That's a way to get, on your neighbor's bad side. I would not give unsolicited help for lawn care. Let's see. Keith, can you overdo it on adding micros? Yes, you can. Absolutely. You can overdo it. You can overdo it on anything. If you add too much nitrogen to your lawn, you're going to overdo it. You're going to burn the grass. You're going to cause problems. Too much of anything on your lawn, even water, is going to cause issues. So yes, you can absolutely do it on micros. If you guys have been following the channel, you know that my iron levels in my lawn, especially since I started applying carbon, have absolutely skyrocketed. So I'm not applying any more iron specifically to the lawn anymore because my levels are more than good enough. But I would not go overboard with that. So a good example is, whereas with the Carbon Pro G, you can go heavy on that, and it's really, really hard to overdo it because, like, just from a money standpoint, it would take a whole lot of money to really get to the point where it's really truly saturated. With any of your micronutrients or macronutrients, yes, you can go too heavy in those. So all things in balance. So get your soil test done, Keith. Look at what the data is telling you, and just amend the soil to get those to the correct levels. I would not go super crazy on soil amendments. Absolutely. Guys, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, BA Ames, thanks so much. Give me some love on the likes. If you guys are new to joining the live stream, so for any of you guys who are new that are just chiming in, if you weren't here for the very beginning, the entire point of the live stream is to answer your questions. My mission is to help you get your lawn looking as awesome as possible, with as economically as possible, using great products. Everything that I recommend is stuff that I use, and I'm not going to recommend something to you that I do not believe in just to make money. So I always want to give that disclaimer. So if you have any questions, this whole section is for you. You get your questions answered live and direct. Let's see what else we have here. SMK has a question. Hey Ron, do your guys grind your reel to specs? I'm trying to get a fresh grind on my John Deere, but I'm really nervous because I never needed to grind it before. It's not really. So here's the thing, SMK. I am not, as far as like my reel mowers go, I take the reel mower to the True Cut. I'll take it to Keystone in Duluth, Georgia, and I'll say, hey guys, give me the full Monty, sharpen it up, give me the full service, and they just give it back to me, and it's sharp and it runs great. So I've never actually given them specifications. If you took it to a place that handles greens mower, so if you went to like Reel Works or any place that specializes in greens mowers, they probably will grind it to specs. But I would just trust them to give you, to give you a good grind for your mower, man. I mean, you figure these guys, the professionals, literally all they do is that. They're going to be able to set your mower up to where you're going to get a really good cut out of it. And because really you want to avoid, taking any more material off the bed knife and off the reel any more than you absolutely have to. But yeah, just take it to a reputable shop. Tell them, what you're after, ask them for some options, and any reputable shop should be able to tell you, what they're going to do to your reel. And, I would just trust them. Just take it to a reputable place and let them do their thing. They are the professionals. That is what they do. I could not tell you about specs because I've never really asked. I've just said, hey man, give it back to me when it's nice. So it's nice and sharp, and they always do that. So I'm good. DJ Kid, cool man. Thanks for checking in, man. I really appreciate it. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? We've got a question from Mauricio. He's back in. He says, have you ever dealt with nutsedge? What do you recommend, sir? I have dealt with nutsedge. I think pretty much anybody that has warm season grass has dealt with nutsedge. The thing with nutsedge is that anywhere where water tends to either settle or flow through, that's a prime spot for nutsedge. So for me, the area between Alex's lawn and my lawn, that swill area that is used to drain water from the lawn when I get heavy rain in the back, that is where nutsedge tends to grow. As far as taking care of nutsedge, there are a couple of products that I'd recommend. There are two. So I'm going to give you two options. There's the one that's going to work really, really fast, but it's going to discolor the grass in the area, and the one that's going to work slower, but it's not going to discolor the grass. So we'll give you the fast option first. The fast option for getting rid of nutsedge is a product from Ortho. You can get it at Home Depot. It's just go to Home Depot, and one of the options they'll have for nutsedge is going to be called, I don't actually have the the bottle up here so I can pull it up here and actually show you guys what it looks like. But that is a great product for getting rid of nutsedge quickly. It comes in a spray bottle form. And that literally, you'll spray that on the nutsedge, and the next day it's going to be seriously yellowing and turning orange. So it's a great product for doing that. Actually, I'll show you what the bottle looks like here. And let's see what we got. There we go. That one. Cool. So that is the product I'm talking about. So this one, it comes on a hose end sprayer, but you can also get it where it's just in a spray bottle where you can just literally just go and spot spray certain parts of the lawn that have nutsedge. So just something to that's one option. That's option one. That's going to be the fast option. The second option is going to be to use Image. I really like Image because it doesn't nuke your turf. So where's Ortho? You can apply that to the nutsedge, and next day you're going to start seeing results. Within 3 to 4 days, it's going to be pretty much shriveled up and dying. Like the entire area where you sprayed is going to turn, at least for Bermuda anyway, it turns like orange in color. Again, you're not going to kill the Bermuda because it's practically impossible to kill Bermuda, but it's you can discolor the grass. So if you don't want that, if you're willing to wait 7 to 10 days to start seeing results for the nutsedge to go away, then the product I would recommend is one called Image. Image nutsedge is a great product for getting rid of it. It's the one that I use most, and it does a pretty good job. Let me pull it up here. I'll show you what that looks like. You can also get Image at Home Depot. There you go. That's what the bottle's gonna look like. Or you can get it on Do Your Own. They carry that. This is the product out of the two that I would recommend. It's the one that I use the most, but it's going to take a little bit slower to work. So you've got two options for getting rid of nutsedge. Ortho is going to be super fast, but it's going to discolor the lawn. The Image is going to be a little bit slower to work, but it's going to it's not going to hurt your grass in the process. If you are looking to get Image on Amazon and you feel like supporting the channel, you can feel free to use this link, which is going to take you to the Image nutsedge weed killer. But you can also get it at your big box store, Home Depot, in those places. Russell M, drop it in the super chat. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support, man. Thank you for supporting the channel and the content, and for chiming in and watching the videos. Let's see. So let's go back up here. See what other questions we have. Mauricio says, Ron Henry, what's your catchphrase? You need a hashtag. I've got it, man. Listen, I've got a hashtag. Look at it right here. It's hashtag stripe action. That's me. That's my catchphrase. You guys hear me say it in the videos all the time. Hashtag stripe action is my catchphrase. Now, and if you guys want that, you want your very own stripe action t-shirt, you can get one in the Ron Henry merch store. If you've not seen that, that is here. So youtube.com/Ron Henry/store. You can get your very own stripe action t-shirt. But yeah, I do have my own hashtag, sir. I appreciate you looking out for me. I really appreciate that. Let's see what we got here. So we covered the question on nutsedge. Alan also tries Dismiss. Dismiss is also good too. Dismiss is a really good selective herbicide. The thing with the Dismiss that I found is you are going to get some yellowing. It is it's gonna spank your grass a little bit if you use that. So just know that it's gonna work well for nutsedge, as well as it's also good for spurge. But you're gonna get a little bit of yellowing if you were to use that. Yeah, and I do have a video on Image that I filmed this year. So absolutely check that out. Let's see. So John D says no. Ryan has ryegrass, and Connor calls it sissy grass. Mine is stripe action because I'm all about the stripes. I know a lot of people don't like stripes in their lawns, but I like the stripe action. Let's see. A Bear has a question. It's a good question. He says, so is Carbon G, is it similar to Humachar? Yes. So they are different products, but the net result of what they do for your soil is the same. Carbon Pro G, both Humachar and Carbon Pro G contain a carbon component. Carbon Pro G is 47% biochar, 40% compost, and then it has a microbial package as well that helps improve, it adds more microbes to the soil, so it helps improve nutrient uptake. So in my mind, Carbon Pro G is an excellent option to Humichar. It's also about 1/3 the price. So they are comparable products, and that I would use. And just based on my channel, you can tell what I tend to use. I mean, I've got a big lawn, so I just can't afford to spend $80 for a bag of carbon, given that I'd have to use three or four bags every time I did my lawn. That'd get cost prohibitive pretty quickly. Cabby Hendo from Scotland. Hey, welcome. Thanks for chiming in. It's probably pretty late in Scotland right now, so it's thanks for staying up late to watch the channel. I'm glad that the content is having reach on the other side of the pond. I'm sure in Scotland it's probably pretty cool there now. You guys probably have some interesting grass types. I wonder what kind of grass you guys you're working with there in Scotland. Let's see. Alan is chiming in on the question about Carbon Pro. Yeah, so Anderson's and has like their DG, their dispersible granule technology that pretty much that causes the Humichar to break down faster, which is, I guess there is probably some merit to that. But Carbon Pro G breaks down pretty quickly too, and again, it's like 1/3 the price. So it just depends on what you're after. Let's see. What can I use to get the? So Timothy Wolf, that's a good question. I'm not sure on this one, but I'll read. I'll put it up here for everyone else. See, someone else can chime in. Timothy Wolf says, "What can I use to get fertilizer stains out of a cement sidewalk and driveway? I guess I did not do a good enough job blowing it off." I'm not sure, Timothy. I mean, you could try pressure washing it. I don't know what anything that you would use to get rid of iron stains on your driveway. I'd be afraid that it might also hurt the grass if any of it washed onto the lawn. I will do some research on that. I'll make a note of that. It's a great question, and I'll get back to you on it, because that's a great question. I'm sure other people have run into that. But the thing is, again, while you're researching that, make sure that whatever you do end up using doesn't kill grass in the process. So just something to keep in mind. But it's a great question. I will do some research, and it'll be something that we can talk about next week. Absolutely. It's a great question. Let's see. Balin DeHobbit has a question. Great username. It says, your thoughts on block pavers and grass combination lawns. So if you're talking about using pavers and in combination with the grass, I think it can look cool. It just depends. I mean, it's a decorative element that you can use. I mean, I do have some pavers that I use to kind of break up between the lawn and the mulch beds that I use. But I mean, I haven't done any of that like out throughout the lawn. I mean, it looks cool, but for me, the only thing I would consider if you were going to do that is the additional work that you're also adding as well. Because remember, if you start adding pavers, when the grass comes up against that, you're going to have to edge against that. So any pavers or any hardscapes you put in it's another area that you're going to have to also take care of. So it's another area you're going to have to edge or string trim against. So just keep that in mind. But as far as like how they look cool. I mean, I've seen some really nice lawns with pavers and like stone elements and stuff done. Like you look at my lawn in the back. There's some two big stones back there that I really like. Those two boulders that like are a decorative element, but it adds more work. I got to mow around them. I got to string trim around them. So just something to keep in mind if you decide to do that. But yeah, absolutely, go for it, man. Go for it. Let's see. Mass Senpai says he just laid down sod a few weeks ago with the weather changing and growth slowing down. What are your recommendations to make sure the roots grow in properly before the whole weather hits? So it's a great question, Mass Senpai. So you just put in sod a few weeks ago. The weather's changing and seed growth going down. What do you recommend to make sure that it takes root properly? So here's the thing. Adding some carbon to the line is always going to be good. If you can, add a fertilizer, like a good starter fertilizer, something that has some potassium in it, like the other elements. So in the NPK, the K, make sure you add something that has that. That will also help promote roots. But really, with Bermuda sod, man, it's going to be fine. I wouldn't stress about it. Literally, my Bermuda sod was put down in the middle of winter, which for a warm season grass is probably not ideal, and it grew in just fine. So if you want to do something to really help the soil and help the lawn to kind of get yourself ready for the next season, I would start adding carbon to the lawn. That's something that's definitely going to help you in the spring. It's going to help with green up. As far as any particular fertilizers to add to the lawn, get a soil test done, and based on what that comes back with, we can amend the soil based on that. But I mean, I wouldn't stress it too much. You got Bermuda, man. It's gonna be absolutely fine. I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, if you got someone here else chiming in, Zach says you could throw down a 1010. Yep, absolutely. It's a great recommendation, Zach. But yeah, again, Bermuda. But again, this is why Bermuda really is warm season grass. It's the master grass, man. I mean, Bermuda takes a licking and keeps on ticking. You really don't have to be too too picky when it comes to taking care of Bermuda. I mean, it's really hard to kill Bermuda. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? What do we have? Keith has a question. He's chiming in. He says, "Hey, I had a bare spot in my backyard near the house, full sun, lush green everywhere but a spot. I poked around and found buried glass and 2 balls buried deep." So there you go. That's a great point. So I think, Keith, you're probably chiming in as far as the question that gentleman had. I think it was Rayon that had earlier about a bare spot. That's what I would check for, man. So if you're getting lots of sun in the area and the soil is good, check that area. Check with a screwdriver, a long screwdriver or something, just to make sure that you don't have some kind of foreign object that's messing with the grass's ability to grow, because that's definitely a thing. Let's see. SMK asked, "Does Keystone do pickup?" I don't know. It's a good question. I can find out for you. I don't know if they pick up. I believe RealWorks in Brazelton will do pickup. I'm almost positive they do. And I think Peachtree Mowers will also do pickup. Those two, I'm pretty certain will do pickup. I don't know if Keystone will. I can find out for you. And I think I have your email, and I can email you and let you know. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to speak on that. But I mean, they're a great set of guys as far as a place to take your mower and get it serviced. They do great work. Let's see. Question from Zach Hughes. He says, "Hey, Ron, do you ever mechanically aerate? If so, when was the last time? I'm debating not doing it next year." I do mechanically aerate, Zach. The time when I do it is typically the best time to do it is late spring when the grass is starting to grow. I've done it as early as late March with no issues. But yes, I think aeration is a good thing to do. Every year I aerate the lawn because I think it breaks up compaction. It just gets breaks up that compaction. It allows you to get fresh air, fresh water gets further down into there. Allows you, if you put a fertilizer down, for the nutrients to get into the soil. I think it's a good thing to do. The only negative I'd say to mechanical aerating, to using the deep tine aeration, is that if you do that and you've put down a pre-emergent prior, you're going to get less out of your pre-emergent. Because remember, the way pre-emergent works is you put that down and it forms like a thin barrier in the soil, and it interrupts the weed seeds from germinating. If you go and you put that pre-emergent down and then you go and run a hollow tine aerator over it, you're punching holes in that barrier. So you're basically making it possible you open up voids in your turf where that weeds can take root and begin growing more. So it's something to keep in mind, that if you mechanically aerate, that's something you're going to have to consider. You might want to wait to do a pre-emergent application afterwards if you really care about that. I mean, I typically don't really care. I aerate anyway. But yes, that's to answer your question. I absolutely do it. If you're going to do it, I would do it in the spring. You can do it in the summer too if you want. Anytime the lawn is actively growing is when you want to do it. Kind of like with top dressing. You want to do it whenever the lawn is beginning to vigorously grow so it can recover quickly from it. Hopefully that helps. Mass Senpai says, as a question about rotary mowers in the States. It's a great question. Let's see here. He says, also, where can you buy rotary mowers in the States? I haven't come across a place here in Tennessee that sells them. When you say rotary or reel, okay, if you say rotary mower, any like your Home Depot, Lowe's, Amazon, any of those places are going to have rotary mowers. That's the most common mowers. If you're talking about reel mowers, depending on what you're trying to get, depending on what you're going for, if you're going for a true cut, like your Howard Brothers will carry those. Any place that sells lawn care equipment that is catered towards lawn care professionals will typically get reel mowers, or they can get them. And then a great place is this, if you're going to pick up a used one, man, get on like OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, or Craigslist. Those are all great places. Also, a great place, and this is where I think Monique Jones, who was like, they chimed in earlier where they got their True Cut, is call your local reel sharpening place. So a place that services reel mowers, call them up, and they will be able to hook you up. A lot of times they might have one for sale, or they can make a good recommendation. So that would be, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp. Those are places, great places to get a pre-owned one, but also call your local places that service reel mowers and ask them, hey, maybe they got one for sale, or ask them where they might recommend getting one. Because they take mowers in all the time. Often they have one they can sell to you, and in that case, you're going to get one that's been serviced and sharpened. It's going to be in good shape. So that would be my advice. Brand new reel mowers can be pretty expensive. Like a True Cut brand new, you're looking at the thick end of $2,300, anywhere between $2,300 to $2,500. They're not inexpensive. Whereas pre-owned, you can pick up a solid pre-owned one, great shape, serviced, ready to roll for under $1,000 in some cases. So you can save, you can pay like half. And then for greens mowers, you definitely want to buy those pre-owned, because brand new they're $12,000-$13,000. Pre-owned, you can get them for anywhere between $1,500 up to like $4,000, depending on the hours you get on the mower whenever you pick it up. So hopefully that helps. If you are going to look for a greens mower, Prairie Turf and Equipment is a really good place. They're not in the United States, they're in Canada, but they sell really low hours greens mower, so that's a good place to get one. But you can find them all over the place, man. Hopefully that helps. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? We have questions. We have a question from so Senpai, we covered that. Zach talks about killing off rye with MSM in early March. MSM, yep. And then so a question, Cedric, great question here. He says, Cedric Gilbert, Ron, what's your position on sponsoring lawn products? So my position is I'm not opposed to sponsoring or talking about products that I believe in. So a good example, like like with My Soil, I am a My Soil affiliate. So if you buy a My Soil test kit through my link, I get a very, very small kickback on that. But I don't recommend anything. I don't recommend anything that I don't believe in. A good example is most of the fertilizers that I recommend, I make no money on them. And there's no way for me to make any money on them, because they are, one, Lebanon Turf doesn't know who I am and probably doesn't care who I am. And, I'm like a relatively, right at this point, a small YouTuber. But the reason why I recommend those products is because there's things that I have personally used that I believe in, and that I know you're going to get a good result with. And I've been branching out and looking for other products that are good substitutes, so that I can make recommendations to you guys for products that you can use in lieu of those that will work well. But the long short is I'm not going to recommend anything that I don't believe in. I'm not going to, and I want to be able to always maintain my objectiveness when it comes to something. I'm not going to recommend something that I think is that just to make a buck, because two things. One, you guys are eventually going to see through it. And then for me, I mean, it's, a couple dollars isn't worth my integrity and the trust that you guys put in me as far as like what I recommend to the lawn. So, no problem with like making a little bit of money as far as like the things like if you guys look in a lot of the links in the description, and I disclose this in all my videos. I am an Amazon affiliate. So if you buy like something through any of those links on Amazon, I get a very, very for small percentage. It doesn't cost you any more money. I think, Amazon gives a rate of anywhere between like 3% or 8%, depending on what it is. It varies. The rates keep going down, but like that is something that I do. But again, everything that I recommend is stuff that I believe in. I'm not going to recommend anything to you guys that I do not think is going to make your lawn better just to make a buck. I value the trust you guys put in me too much to do that. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Let's see here. What is... Oh, that's a great question. It's a fun question. Balin DeHobbit says, Ron, what is the best movie that features lawn care? Forrest Gump versus Edward Scissorhands. I don't know, probably Forrest Gump. I mean, he had the snapper. I mean, Forrest was getting it with that snapper, so I had kind of to lean towards Forrest. But if you guys really want a really good documentary, so if you guys want to know something you can watch, it's actually a serious piece of work about the soil and about like just what it takes to build good soil, which in turn builds great grass. There is a documentary, I think it's called "Kiss the Ground." If you have Netflix, you can see it on Netflix. It's called Kiss the Ground or Kiss the Soil or something like that. I forget the name. I'll look it up here and I'll put it up for you guys. But that is a really, really good documentary. I mean, they do get towards the end of it into like the whole global warming and climate change thing argument towards the end of it. But like if anything, watch the first like 20 minutes of that, because like they go into a deep dive on like what it takes to really build great soil that's going to, in turn allow you to build an amazing lawn. So, but of the two, to answer your question, I got to go with Forrest Gump, man. Plus, I like Tom Hanks. I think he's a pretty good actor, and I like that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. Let's see. A-Berry just ordered 2 soil test kits. Awesome, man. Be sure to definitely, once you get them done, like I would get a soil test done now, man, because here's the thing. You can get your soil test kit and wait till the spring. But let's say your soil pH is low, right? You don't want to wait till the spring to start fixing that. You can put down lime now and kind of get that trend, get the pH moving in the right direction. So, do a soil test now. And if you need help once you get the results with interpreting the results, feel free to drop me an email. This is my email address. I'll put it up here on the screen now, ron@ron-henry.com. Feel free to drop me an email there. Send me the results of your soil test. I'll look through them with you, and I'll give you some recommendations of what I would apply to the lawn to begin amending it. And you'll be good to go. I would definitely do one now, and then if you want to wait till the spring to use the other one, great. But let's see where you are now, because I don't want to waste 6 months not fixing something that we could be working on now. So, but good on you, man. A soil test is literally one of the best $30 you can spend on your lawn. If you're serious about getting your lawn in good shape, absolutely get a soil test done, because it allows you to intelligently add the correct products to your lawn. So good on you for that. SMK talks about MSM is really dangerous stuff. You really have to know what you're doing to use it in a room for error. Yes, it does work great. And MSM, I think, is rated not for residential use, correct? I'm pretty sure you're supposed to use it only on non-residential lawns, but whatever. I mean, I think that's true, but maybe not. But it's a very, very strong herbicide. Like it's one of the with a few herbicides that will knock out Dallas grass. It's a really strong one, but it'll also kill your grass in the process too if you go too heavy with it. So something to keep in mind there. Let's see. Keep the questions coming, guys. Let's see what else we got here. So Mauricio has another question. He says, Ron, what should be the yearly pounds of macros NPK applied to Bermuda? What about Milo? Great question. That's an awesome question, Mauro. So Bermuda, the answer to that question, the boilerplate answer to that question is, for Bermuda, 1 pound of nitrogen per month is what it needs, typically when it's actively growing, right, during the growing season. So in Georgia, for all intents and purposes, between March to October, so this month, you need to be feeding the lawn with about 1 pound of nitrogen per month to keep it happy. But that is based on if you are not bagging your clippings. So if you're someone that's collecting your clippings, so if you're the person that cuts the lawn and you're collecting clippings and you're throwing them out, you're throwing away, like basically free fertilizer. So if you are a person that mows your lawn and you also bag the clippings, now we got to up that a little bit. So 1.5 pounds of nitrogen per month is what you got to put down. As far as the other macros, what I typically find is the lawn consumes, like Bermuda consumes nitrogen and potassium as it's growing throughout the year. Phosphorus is the middle, the P in the NPK is the one you really don't want to be applying to the lawn unless there's actually a need for it. So you'll see a lot of the fertilizers that I recommend. Typically, like the one we did for Tony's lawn, the Proscape, I think that's like a 25012, like a Pennington one that I like. Let me look here. I think that one's a 22011. So that applies some nitrogen and also applies some potassium, because those are things that get consumed that typically fall off throughout the growing season as the lawn is growing. The phosphorus is the one that you really only want to apply if your soil tests tell you that you're lacking, because most people's lawns have plenty of phosphorus in it. And what you'll find is, even if your phosphorus levels are a little bit low, if you start on a carbon regimen and it starts freeing up, starts doing that liquid aeration where you start freeing up a lot of the stuff that's locked up in the turf, your phosphorus levels might come up. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that helps answer your question, Mauro. The short answer is 1 pound per 1,000 square feet if you are not bagging your clippings, 1.5 pounds per 1,000 square feet if you are if you are taking all the clippings off the lawn. And I think the same thing applies for ryegrass too. Rye, I think it's around 1.5 pounds per month is what of nitrogen, what it needs to be happy. So great question. Great question. Let's see here. MSM, that's a great point, Alan. Thanks for correcting me there. MSM is rated for residential and commercial. MSMA is not rated for residential. Yeah, so there you go. So that's a good point. I was confused. Good correction on that, as far as which one you can use on residential, which one you cannot, or which one you should not use on residential. Thanks for the clarification on that. Thanks for keeping me honest. Oh yeah, and as far as Mauro, sorry, the second part of your question was about Milorganite. You could absolutely use Milorganite. You'd think with Milo, it's a great fertilizer. It's just expensive to apply, especially if you have a bigger lawn. So Milo's great. I have, actually, if you go to that link that's up here, ron-henry.com/golf course lawn, if you check out my blog post, I have a calendar that specifically talks to applying Milorganite in the lawn. So check that out if you're interested. Milo's a great fertilizer. I am still a big fan of Milo. It's just expensive to apply, given that around here anyway, it's almost $17 for a bag of it. A great fertilizer that I'm going to try out that I think has a lot of promise. If any of you guys are in the Northeast Georgia area, so like if you're near Buford, Gainesville, Gwinnett, check out Drive By Central Turf and Irrigation. They've got this new fertilizer they're putting out. It's called Jackpot. They gave me a bag of it to try out, but it's a blend of organic and synthetic nitrogen. So it's kind of cool, and it's something like, I think it's under $20 for a bag of this stuff. So it's not super expensive, and it's supposed to be a really good product. I got a bag of it to try out, but they tell me they've got really good feedback on it. So if you're in the Northeast Georgia area, look up Central Turf and Irrigation, and if you go in there, ask for Jackpot, and they'll be able to hook you up, and just tell them that Ron sent you. But that's a great option if you want something that's an alternative to Milorganite. Great question. Let's see. We have another question here from Don Batista. Ron, when to scalp and top dress for the upcoming season? Central Texas here. Welcome from the Lone Star State, man. So when to scalp? You should scalp in the late spring. So late April is probably a good time to here's the thing. It depends on how quickly you want your lawn to come back, right? I've scalped as early as late March, but I don't mind that my grass looks brown while it's growing in. So if you want to scalp it and then know that you're going to get green grass like pretty quickly after scalping, wait till late April when you have a little bit more heat. But in my case, I started scalping in late March, and the grass started coming in. Scalping is good because it does encourage new growth. So late March, if you're crazy like me, the safe bet is going to be April. As far as top dressing, you want to top dress the lawn when it is actively growing. So late mid-May, late May is a good time to top dress your lawn. It's not too hot, and it's still late enough in the spring that you're still going to benefit from some of that spring rain. So you don't have to run irrigation on the lawn. So if we're talking about the formula, I would say is scalp the lawn in April, top dress in May. That would be my recommendation, because the lawn's going to recover faster and you're going to get a good result by doing that. Great question. I got a new question here from Jurassic Park. Go Free. Do you have any thoughts or feedbacks on the California trimmers? I don't really, Jurassic Park. I've never used one of those reel mowers. I think that they're probably a fine mower. I think they've been making them for a long time. So, I mean, that kind of tells me that the product has some merit to it, or they wouldn't still be in business. But I've not personally used a California trimmer, so I can't make a recommendation for or against it. But it's probably fine. I can tell you that True Cuts are an awesome mower. I have one. I've used it. It's been rock solid, and I can wholeheartedly recommend that mower. But a California trimmer, it's probably fine. I mean, it's probably a great mower to get going with. I mean, I've not heard anything really negative about them. As long as it's set up properly and you keep it sharp, you're probably going to get great results with it. Hey guys, if there's anyone new joining the channel or joining the live stream, this is all about you guys. If you have any questions that I can help answer, primarily on warm season grass, if you got cool season grass too, I'll do my best to help out with that as well. Feel free to drop them in the chat. I answer the questions at the as they come in. And again, the entire point of this live stream is to serve you guys. My whole goal is to help you guys create amazing lawns one at a time. So definitely drop those questions, keep them coming. And if you've not yet given me a like or given a like to the live stream, definitely do that. It helps me out, lets YouTube know that you guys are enjoying the content. It's good for the algorithm, and it helps them promote this to other people so we can grow the channel. So I would definitely appreciate that if you guys do not mind. Let's see. So we have a question here from Robert Ruffin about pre-emergent. Robert says, when should I do my second application of pre-emergent before aerating, top dressing, and overseeding Bermuda grass in the spring with Arden 15? Okay, so we got a lot going on in that question. So, okay, so if your plan is to overseed next spring with Arden 15, I would as much as it's going to hurt you because you're probably going to get a little bit more weeds in your lawn, I would not put down pre-emergent if your plan is to overseed your lawn with Arden 15. Because one, Arden 15 is really expensive, and we don't want to do anything to hurt germination. So what I would do if your plan is to overseed, let's see what we got here. You got top dressing, aerating, and overseeding in there. What I would probably do is I would aerate the lawn. I would top dress, and as part of that top dressing, that would be a good time to go ahead and oversee the lawn with the Arden 15. Once the Arden 15 begins to grow in, so Arden 15 has pretty quick germination, anywhere between 10 days to 10 to 14 days when you start seeing some growth. Once it germinates and it's growing in, so really, even though you would want to put pre-emergent on it right away, once you get to the point where you can actually cut it, that is when I would do the pre-emergent. Mainly because I don't want you to put pre-emergent down and then put Arden 15 down because I don't want you to waste any of that grass seed. I mean, pre-emergent is pretty potent stuff, and we don't want to hurt any chances for that grass seed to grow in. So, as far as the formula, if you're doing it next spring, we're going to fast forward to next spring, Robert. In April, we are going to aerate the lawn. In May, we're going to top dress, and at that point, also soil temps are going to be above 65 degrees, which is the ideal time for germination for Arden 15, and that's where we're going to overseed. We're going to do the overseeding along with that. If you want, you can wait to aerate the lawn when you're top dressing. Well, like my magic formula for top dressing, if you want like the Mac Daddy method for top dressing, what I recommend you do is you aerate the lawn like the day before or the day of top dressing. You put down a starter fertilizer, and then you top dress. So now what we've done, we've opened up the lawn, we've opened up voids in the turf. We have put down a starter fertilizer to kind of encourage that growth, to get the lawn to bounce back quicker. And then we're putting down that top dressing mix on top of it. And if you want to apply your Arden 15, your overseeding, then that's a great time to do it. Once that new grass starts growing in, that's when we want to do the pre-emergent. We want to avoid doing that if the goal is to overseed in the spring. So hope that helps. I know it was a really long-winded answer, but Arden 15 is expensive stuff, man. I don't want it to go to waste. So yeah. Josh wants some clarification on a question that I answered earlier. When I say 1 to 1.5 pounds, is that per 1,000 square feet? Yes, that is correct, Josh. When I say for nitrogen application in Bermuda grass lawn, when I say 1 to 1.5 pounds, it's 1 to 1.5 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. Per month is what you're looking for. So yes, I'm sorry if I wasn't clear on that, but yeah, 1 to 1.5 pounds per month on 1,000 square feet is what you want. Robert Levins has a question. He says, can you use river sand to top dress or level your lawn? You absolutely can, Robert. As a matter of fact, I did that this season. So if you are interested, if you go to YouTube and look up Ron Henry, put Ron Henry top dressing, or if you watch the Fix My Ugly Lawn series, and a gratuitous plug, I'll throw that in here. I think I've got it linked here. I think this is the playlist for it, I believe. I'll link that here. Bam. If you look at that, Robert, in that playlist, I want to say it's video 9, or episode 9, if I'm not mistaken. You check me on that. I'm not sure. I think it's 9. I think that's the one that's the top dressing episode. In that episode, we top dressed both Alex's lawn and my lawn with 100% river sand. Zach, yeah, thanks for coming in, man. Thanks for joining the live stream. So yeah, we top dress the lawn with 100% river sand, and of the two, if you have a choice between doing 100% river sand to top dress and level the lawn, or doing a sand soil mix, using 100% sand is going to give you a better result, especially if you're dealing with any parts of your lawn that are sloped. You absolutely want to go for the 100% river sand option. If your soil is a clay soil, kind of like what we have here in Georgia, using 100% river sand works like that. Like, river sand is compatible with clay soil and works really well. So yeah, long-winded answer, but that is what I would do. I would do river sand, and if you want to add some organic material, add some Carbon Pro G as well to your top dressing process. That would be my recommendation. Let's see. We have a question here from Mind Business. He says, I have a random cool season grass throughout my lawn. What can I treat my lawn with during the winter to eliminate those grasses and any weeds that might compete with my Bermuda during the spring? So you want to bring the hate to the cool season grass. Is that what I'm hearing, Mind Business? So what you can do is wait for the Bermuda to go dormant, and I say dormant like completely dormant. And you can spray. You can use glyphosate. I mean that is a technique that you can use to kill weeds and your cool season grass during winter months. Because when the Bermuda's not growing, and again, when I say not growing, I mean it's got to be completely brown. If you go through and you look at the grass and there's any kind of there's any green in it at all, like right now is not good enough. Like I'd say December, early January is when we're talking about doing this, when Bermuda is fully dormant, so the grass is not growing at all. You could use glyphosate to kill to kill off any cool season grasses in your lawn. That's definitely an option, because really what you want to do is, if you can knock it back, especially as we get closer to the springtime, Bermuda is gonna outcompete and is going to grow in anyway. But yeah, I would if I would not want to do that. You wouldn't want to take a chance of doing that now while the Bermuda is growing. So wait till the Bermuda is fully dormant, and then you're going to really be able to see what you're working with, and then you can take a selective herbicide, or not. You can use a herbicide to kill the weeds and the cool season grass. That is definitely an option. But again, I want to say it again: make sure the Bermuda is completely dormant. Completely dormant. Let's see. Mind Business, I have 5,000 square feet and hammer it with Dismiss NXT. So yeah. Again, I'm reading the comments and I'm seeing other people are answering my questions. But yeah, what Alan is saying is spot on. You can use Dismiss. Yeah. So once the grass is in dormancy, that's when you can go really heavy with a herbicide, a selective herbicide, and knock out the weeds and also your cool season grasses without risk of damaging the Bermuda. Again, it's Bermuda, so it's not like you're going to do permanent damage to it, but there's no reason to stress the grass or put herbicides into it if you can avoid that. Let's see. Mind Business has another question. He says, if I use pre-emergent in November, can I overseed with more Bermuda seed in the spring? Yes, so it depends on the pre-emergent you use. It's a great question. So if your plan is to overseed in the spring, the pre-emergent that I would recommend is the granular from Spectracide. It's the one that I'm going to link here. Half these guys that follow the content, he's about to say Spectracide, guys. Watch, he's going to bring up Spectracide again, and you guys would be right. This is the one that I'd recommend. I'm going to put a link here for it in the chat. Like, that is a pre-emergent that I would use. It's also got a post-emergent in it as well, so it's going to also kill any weeds that happen to be in your lawn. The reason why I like that one is because it's only effective for 4 to 5 months, all right? So if we put that down November, yeah, so like by springtime, it's going to be pretty much worn off. It's not going to be as effective, and you'll still be okay to seed to put down Bermuda grass seed in late spring. Again, I wouldn't do Bermuda like in early spring, because you want those soil temps to be above 65 degrees. But if you do something like a Spectracide weed stop that has a milder pre-emergent in it, you're still going to be okay next year to overseed. Or to put any kind of grass seed down. If you were to use something like There's one from Bayer. It's called Spectacle Flow. It's a really, really good pre-emergent. It's probably one of the better ones you can use. It's also very expensive. That one has an effective period of up to almost a year. It's like 10 months. So that is one you would not want to use if you're planning to do any kind of seeding. You're trying to overseed your Bermuda next year. I would not use that one, and it's also really expensive too. So that'd be my advice. I just put a link down there that you can check out. That is a product that I would recommend you use. Let's see what else we got here, guys. You guys are really a lot of questions on overseeding and pre-emergent. Definitely, guys, if you guys have not put your pre-emergents down, get that done, man. Get your fall pre-emergent in, because when the lawn's getting ready to go to sleep, you don't want to, when your Bermuda goes to sleep, you want to have that nice golden brown without like green all through it. That happens to be weeds that you didn't take care of, but you could have handled now, by using some pre-emergent. So absolutely knock that out. Absolutely knock that out. Let's see. So we have a question here from Chris. He talks about scalping, and he says, so Ron, when you do your initial scalp in the spring, do you pick up the clippings or still leave them and blow them and spread them out? I pick them up. I get rid of them. So that's the one time. It's a great question, Chris. That is the one time when my grass catcher on my True Cut comes out. You can try and blow them out, but I mean, when I scalp, you're talking, at that time, that lawn's probably going to be around an inch and a quarter, maybe as high as an inch and a half, because I am going to slow down on how much I mow it. And that's a lot of a lot of clippings to be having going all throughout the lawn. I absolutely would use a grass catcher if you can swing it to pick up those clippings, mainly because it looks really bad. It looks really unsightly. Two reasons. One, it looks really unsightly. And two, if you get a heavy rain, like in the spring, it rains a lot in Georgia typically. And if you scalp the lawn, and even if you blow it to where it looks kind of even, to where the dead grass is all like evenly dispersed, when you get a heavy rain, you're going to get all these huge, nasty clumps in the lawn where all the grass that you scalped is going to make this really just nasty looking grass clumps. You have to go and rake up anyway. So my advice would be, if you can, when you scalp, go ahead and get rid of the clippings. So it's gonna add probably, it's gonna probably double your mowing time, to be completely honest, because when you're scalping, you're gonna make, like in my case, like literally 2 passes back and forth, and that grass catcher's full. So it's gonna add a lot of time to your scalping process, but you're gonna get a better result from a standpoint. You're not leaving all that material in the lawn, and you're gonna get a better green up like that. That's something. If you don't pick up those clippings, that's something that could contribute to thatch. So I would absolutely get rid of them. Absolutely. So hopefully that helps. I'm not sure that's the question to answer you're looking for, but that is what I do, and I think you're going to get a better result by doing that. That's probably why I've never really had an issue with thatching my lawn. Frequent mowing, and also whenever I scalp, I don't leave those clippings on the lawn for it to get all nasty. Moro asks, when's the next Q&A? The next Q&A is Friday nights. It seems to be working well, guys. I've been doing them on Friday nights at 7 p.m. This seems to be working pretty well. The goal is just to get in here and answer questions as long as you guys are asking them, right? So Friday night at 7 p.m. seems to be working well, and that is the schedule that I'm probably going to maintain. Unless you guys have big suggestions of another day. The thing is, I figure if I did like a Saturday, a lot of people like to go out on Saturdays, so maybe Saturday evening they don't want to have to get back home quickly enough to catch a live stream. And then Sunday, because right now it's like 9 p.m., some people, if they're trying to get ready for the work week, and they may not want to stay up. I mean, 9 o'clock to 9:30 is not that late, but maybe people are busy getting ready for work. So I try to do it on a Friday night, because I think that's probably the best night. You start the weekend, people are getting done with the work week, and they just want to unwind, talk about lawn care stuff, get their questions answered. When they get in the lawn on tomorrow, they know what to do. They got a plan of attack. So I think Friday nights is going to work. It's going to work well. That's probably one of the best times. Lee Harrington has a question. He says, how long would you wait to put out pre-emergent on new sod? Great question, Lee. In most cases, I'd say 6 months. That's what I would give it. So especially for Bermuda, Bermuda really doesn't really matter, but for most sod types, a safe bet is 6 months to prevent doing any kind of damage to the roots or anything like that. That's a great safe advice as far as pre-emergent. Oh, Mauricio, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the support. I'll give you some applause for that. Thank you so much. Thanks. I really, really, really appreciate it. But yeah, Lee Harrington, absolutely. 6 months, man. So if you with my lawn, it was the sod was put down in December, and that following spring, so really like 4 or 5 months, is when the pre-emergent went down on the lawn. So there you go. There you go. It's a just for if you're dealing with Bermuda, it doesn't really matter, but 6 months is safe. And then SMK, kind of to follow up on that question I got earlier, as far as a herbicide that you can use to smoke cool season grass. SMK always chiming in, man. I can always count on you. He says that it's an expensive herbicide. It's going to get rid of cool season grass from Bermuda. But it's expensive. Like that's the thing you find. Like some of the really good herbicides, like one of the best selective herbicides you can use is one called Tribute Total from Bayer. Like it kills Dallas grass, it kills spurge, it's the one that kills all the tough stuff. So like whenever the lawn care professionals are rolling around, whenever the supervisor has to come out to take care of some kind of weed problem, he's probably reaching for that bottle of Tribute Total to knock out the tough stuff. But it's really expensive. I mean, a small container of this stuff is something like $350. So it's not inexpensive to use. And kind of like what SMK is talking about for that question that we had about getting rid of the cool season that's embedded with Bermuda. Monument's also good, but it's going to be expensive. So that's like anything in life, guys. Good, fast, cheap. Choose two. There's no such thing as getting all three of them. So yeah, that's another option if you're trying to get rid of cool season grass. Yep. And Alan chimes in saying he doesn't like Roundup. Roundup is not great to apply. Is not good to use. I'm not a fan of it on grass. On grass that I'm trying to grow. So like for your hardscapes, for their driveways and places where you just don't really care if the grass ever comes back, glyphosate okay. But yeah. Monument, the suggestion that SMK made is probably a better one. But again, like he said, I would only do that after the lawn has gone dormant. LG, man, chiming in. I was wondering if you're going to chime in tonight, man. He says, hey, Ron, your lawn is always looks freshly vacuumed. Do you remove debris, leaves, fireworks from the neighbors from your lawn? Do you own a rotary mower with a bagger? I do not own a rotary mower. The lawn always looks freshly vacuumed because I'm always out there cutting it, man. I'm always out there, cutting it, blowing it off. And also the thing you have to realize too is I don't have any really big trees in my lawn or really nearby my lawn. So the only areas where you'll see leaves really that will come in on my lawn are like where the vanity, you guys know where the vanity strip is. Like vanity strip 2.0, there are two, I think they're maples that are there that the house association makes us put in. When those start shedding, which they're doing now, like leaves are falling off of them, like you'll see some leaves there. So I got to blow that off. But for the most part, I don't have too much of an issue. I don't own a rotary mower. And yes, whenever I mow, I definitely remove debris. Like I don't run over it with the mower. And I take pride in the lawn, man. I don't like to have stuff on it. Like after 4th of July, the lawn was absolute carnage. Like I don't know if you guys have ever, kind of a segue here, if you ever let people light off fireworks on your lawn during the 4th of July and they use those Roman candles, one thing you don't realize the Roman candles, and I learned this the hard way, is in between each one of those bursts that go out, there's like a little cardboard disc or something that separates one charge from the next charge, and those get blown all over your lawn. Like the next day, I literally spent like the better part of like 45 minutes like going through and picking up all these little cardboard discs that were all over my lawn. So yeah, I'm a little bit, anal about making sure that the lawn looks nice. But yeah, I do that. But for the most part, the lawn doesn't really require a whole lot because I don't have a lot of trees that will drop debris on my lawn to have to take care of. So great observation, great question. I really I appreciate that. And guys, if you guys have not given me a like as yet or given the stream a like, if you're enjoying that, be sure to punish that like button. It lets YouTube know that you guys are enjoying the content. It's great for the algorithm. So definitely do that. If you've not yet given me a like, guys, I would really, really appreciate it. Let's see here. My Business says, what are your thoughts on Sunnyland Pre-emergent? I don't really have any thoughts on it. I've not used it. Depending on the active ingredient in it, it's probably fine. It just depends. I mean, it's probably going to have protamine or some or one of the other common pre-emergents in there, but it's probably fine Sunny Land, but I've not personally used it, so I don't want to. I can't recommend for or against it, but just look at the ingredients. Pretty much all of those products contain one of a couple active ingredients that act as pre-emergent. So I'm sure it's fine. Just find one that works for you, that is well priced, and that also has the effectiveness period based on what you're trying to do with your lawn. So if you're planning to overseed your lawn, or you're trying to do anything where you're trying to grow other grass in the lawn next year, like that needs to weigh into which pre-emergent you go with. So just something to consider there. Let's see here. My thoughts on Sunnyland pre-emergent with a 007. Again, same question. I've never used it, but I'm sure it's probably a fine product, and you're getting a little bit of potassium in the process. So if you need potassium, you need pre-emergent, yeah, go for it. Why not? Sunith Luthra asks, what do you do full-time? What do I do full-time, bro? I can tell you I love it. So what I do for work full-time is I work in information security. I am an information security professional. So the best way to describe what my day-to-day job is to make sure that bad guys do not steal intellectual property or do damage to data for organizations that the company that I work for is charged to protect. So my job is to protect bad guys from doing bad things with data. So yeah, but I'm a technology guy. I'm a geek. So that's what I do for the day job. That's what pays the bills. And but YouTube, I enjoy YouTube. I enjoy videography and photography, and also working in my lawn. And it's a great way for me to share the little bit that I know about lawn care with you guys, and to make new friends. So I enjoy it. Let's see. So Alan says he's not found tribute total anywhere. Let me see. I think Do Your Own normally has it. Before I put this link here, let me make sure you're not going to make a liar out of me. Let me check here on Amazon and make sure it's actually still good. Yep, here we go. So Amazon, so tribute total, you can get that on Amazon. And if you want like an amazing Jacob Carmona, oh my God. Now this live stream has just taken a turn for the worst. I'm not even going to talk about this guy. But yeah, as far as where you can find tribute total, Alan, check there. You can go to Amazon. They have it. Again, it's expensive, but you can get it there. LG, thank you so much for the super chat, man. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support for the channel. I am afraid to read Jacob's comments. So Jacob Carmona is a really good guy. If you are ever looking for someone to do like amazing artwork, like especially like artwork around like firearms and just some of our artwork's a little more edgy, definitely check him out. He's a great guy. I need to find out what his I should know your Instagram by default, but I am gonna cheat and just pull it up here. He goes by Artist with a Gun on Instagram. So just look up Artist with a Gun, and he does some really amazing artwork, and he's also a really good guy in the process. If you already like artwork done, check him out. He's a really good friend of mine. So yeah. Let's see. SMK, does the missus share your obsession? Mine is like green grass. Not really. She'll come out and she'll weed. She likes pulling weeds sometimes. As far as like when the spurge outbreak happened, she will come out and help me weed the lawn, but not really. But everybody likes a green lawn, so at least is supportive of my hobby, one of my many hobbies. Let's see here. Mind Business says, could you please show your shrubs some love? You and Alex should hire me to trim your shrubs. Yeah, I do need to. You should see it now. The one that's down there. So if you're looking at the front lawn, the big shrub is off to the right. If you're looking at it from the street up at my house, that shrub is looking really rough right now. I got to get out there and I got to trim it this weekend. It's looking like you guys saw it in the last video. It's looking even worse now. I haven't even cut it yet. I might actually take a picture of it and or when I do the YouTube story tomorrow, I'll actually show you guys what it looks like. It's looking kind of rough. You can tell that grass is my thing. I don't like trimming shrubs because mainly why I hate doing shrubs is because it's a ton of work. You got to trim the shrubs and then you got to go pick up all the little clippings afterwards, and it's a huge hassle. That's why shrubs are just not really my thing so much. But I get it. Let's see. Yeah, which of those maple? Well, one thing I'm doing too, Alan, as far as the vanity strip, is I keep cutting the maples up higher and higher and higher. I mean, eventually I'm probably going to lose the vanity strip when the trunk gets bigger, but I'm cutting those every year. I cut those maples up really high. Like if you saw them now, they're cut up really compared to the other ones on the street. They're cut up really high to kind of keep the canopy high, so the grass will still get some sun. So we'll see how long I can hold out and keep the grass green. LG, I really appreciate the super chat again, man. Thanks so much for the support. Splash Myers chimes into your question about the Sunnyland. He says that he's tried the Sunnyland and he preferred how the Spectracide works. So there you go. There's an endorsement for another endorsement for the Spectracide. Again, Spectracide works. The reason why I like Spectracide, two reasons. One, it works. Two, it's really hard to mess up. Like if you just put it down at the rate that they say, which covers 3,000 square feet, you're not going to destroy your lawn in the process of using it. And in addition to getting it on Amazon, you can find it at Home Depot or Lowe's. You can find it pretty much everywhere. So it's one that, if people are tuning into the live stream now and they're saying, oh, wow, pre-emergent, I need to get that done. And you want to do something on your lawn tomorrow morning, then you could go out to Home Depot, grab you a couple bags of Spectracide and throw it down. The one thing I'd say for Spectracide is the magic ingredient, and it's in the instructions, but the thing you really want to make sure of, if you're going to put Spectracide down as a pre-emergent, is either do it early in the morning when there's some dew on the lawn so that the product sticks to the leaf, or water your grass, run irrigation, and then while the grass is still wet, then apply the product, because you will get the product is most effective when it's applied to wet leaves. So both for the weeds and for your grass. Really, the fact that being wet really applies more to the weeds, so it can kill them, it sticks to them and kill them. But that's the only thing with Spectracide. That's the only gotcha. If you do use Spectracide and you get a bad result, most people, it's because they didn't read the instruction. They just applied it when the grass was dry, and you're not going to get a good result if you do that. So that's the only little gotcha I got to give you when it comes to applying Spectracide. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? Let's see. Yeah, Alan says people are hiring InfoSec people, and we get a bonus if we hire someone. Yep, that's true. I mean, InfoSec, it's a great field to get into, man. If you are looking for, if you are an abstract thinker and things that you can't physically see with your eyes, you can visualize, and it makes a lot of sense to you, absolutely go into information security. It's a great field. It's a growing field. It's one that, AI is definitely making some inroads into it, but it's still one where people still matter as far as being effective at it. So, and it's really cool. I mean, if you go on the offensive side, you get to hack into systems for a living and get paid to do it. So that's always fun if you like to do that kind of stuff. Let's see here. LG says he showed up late for the live stream. Did I already miss a discussion on the flow zone sprayer? Sort of. I mean, I covered it slightly, but the big thing I was talking about, LG asked a question in the comments earlier about the flow zone sprayer, because if you guys saw the video that I posted, I think they went live today. I'm using a new backpack sprayer, the Typhoon. The reason why I went to that sprayer, and I'm sorry to belabor the point, some of you guys have already seen this. The reason why I went to that one is because I wanted to have a sprayer that I use for stuff that kills a lawn, like the herbicides, pre-emergent, things like that, which I'm going to use the Chapin for. It's going to be dedicated for those kinds of products. And I wanted a sprayer that serve two purposes. One, I could use for my fertilizers, my PGRs, the carbon products that I put down, and one that works better when it's a little bit windier out. The Chapin works really well, but you really want to use that. You get the best results with it if you use it early in the morning or in the afternoon when there's not a lot of wind. Or if you have a day when it's a really calm day, it works well too, because it doesn't have a ton of pressure like the Flow Zone Typhoon does. So Flow Zone also makes another sprayer called the Cyclone. I would avoid that one completely. Like the Chapin, in my mind, is better than that one. But the Typhoon is a great sprayer if you are, if you're looking for like the Mac Daddy of all backpack sprayers, get the Typhoon. That's the one that I would go with. It's a good one. It's expensive, but it's expensive for a reason. Like all things, you want something that's good. It's going to cost money, unfortunately. Let's see. But yeah, Jurassic Park. So yeah, you make a good point about putting out a tarp for the clippings. But see, that's another thing. I gotta go get a tarp out. And then I gotta cut it, and I gotta pick up the tarp, and then all the clippings don't stay on the tarp. It's just a hassle, man. I just hate. I mean, here's something. Here's how lazy I am when it comes to trimming shrubs. I've actually hired like a lawn care service to come do the shrubs for the lawn. That's how much I hate doing shrubs. I hate doing it that much that I actually pay someone else to come do it so I don't have to do it. But yeah. Let's see. And yeah, SMK, that's a good point. Tribute total in Gwinnett has it. Also, the Site 1, sorry, Tribute total in Gwinnett. The Site 1 in Gwinnett has it. And also the Site 1 in Beaufort on Lee Street also has Tribute total. They often have it. So either of those places you can get it if you're in the Georgia area. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? We're kind of winding down. This is... let's see, he talks about having a bagger. Question here from FH20. He says, what's the best commercial grade spreader for a residential home? How do you measure my yard to know the square footage? The best way is just use a measure. You can use a measuring tape. If you want to be completely honest, you're trying to be accurate. You could use a measuring tape to get your square footage. That's the answer to your first question. But as far as the commercial grade spreader, the one that I would recommend, and it's not truly commercial grade, it's probably like prosumer grade, is the Earthway. So it's this one here. Let me pull it up here. It's the Amazon.com. It's the Earthway 2050. It's a really, really good spreader, and it's a good blend or good compromise between like the Lesco spreaders, which are baller. Those are really nice, but they're going to cost you a lot of money. I will switch over here real quick. I'll show you guys. So if you check out here, this is what they look like. They're going to be red. So any of these from Earthway, like the 2150, the 20. This is the one that I have here, the 2050 Estate, like the little 80 pounder. This guy. This is the one that I am rocking, and I like it. It's got the inflated wheels, so it does really well over uneven surfaces. And yeah, so that is the one that I would recommend you go with, because the Lesco ones, that's also really, really good. But man, you're looking at like $450 for a spreader if you go with that one, you know. So you kind of really have to be seriously committed to your lawn to spend that much money on a broadcast spreader. So if you're gonna pick that one up, check out. I'll put a link here in a second up for where you can pick that up if you are interested in it. But yeah, that's what I would recommend. The 2050 Earthway from that one from Earthway is the one I would go with. It's a great spreader. It's been rock solid, and it's not too expensive. That one's like $140 as you saw. Let's see. What other questions? Should I apply? Luke Foster has a question. He says, should I apply Spectracide in the fall? Yes, you should. Because if you're talking about, it depends which one you're talking about. Because Spectracide is the brand, and they make several different products. They have the Weed Stop, which is they have one that is just a herbicide, a selective herbicide. And they also have one that I recommend that is the Weed Stop that has, it's a selective herbicide and also has pre-emergent in it. So yes, in the fall, you should be putting a pre-emergent down on your lawn. You absolutely should be doing that to prevent weeds from growing during fall months and in the winter time. So if you're serious about keeping your lawn weed free, definitely apply that. So when I did it in September. There's a video if you're interested. I think it's called if you just search Ron Henry pre-emergent fall, you're going to see a video that I did that talks all about applying pre-emergent in the fall and what the benefits of it, the scenarios where you would not want to apply pre-emergent in the fall, and yeah. So the long answer to your question is yes, you absolutely should do that, Luke, because it's going to prevent weeds from growing into your lawn. As your Bermuda begins to go dormant. Let's see. Luke Foster says, "Are Scott's products good?" Yeah. I mean, Scott's makes good products. I mean, Scott's makes good products, and they are targeted more for the home consumer. So the thing I'd say about Scott's products is that in some ways they are a little bit expensive for what you are getting, but they are very easy to apply. The instructions are super easy. They have really clear documentation. Like some products that you put down, they kind of assume you know what you're doing. They do have like all products are gonna have a label, but Scott's does a really, really good job talking about on their products, covering like what grass type it's for, the rates to apply. apply it, the temperatures to apply it under. I mean, most places do that, but they do a really good job making it super easy to get a good result with your with their products. So yeah, I mean their products are good. I mean I wouldn't knock Scott's products. I just like I recommend I like the products from Lebanon Turf because the types of nitrogen they use in those products is probably a little bit better than what they use in the Scott's products. They tend to also include some humic acids in some of the better fertilizers. Some of the better fertilizers also include some kelp. So I mean, as you move away from Scott's is a good go-to, and you're going to get a good result with it. But you can move towards some of the more boutique fertilizers that are going to produce a great result, but you're going to pay more for them. So it just depends. But yes, Scott's products are good. Like most fertilizers you're going to get a good result with them if you apply them at the correct rate, right? So that's why anyone asks me, is Anderson's good? Is this company good? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've not used a lot of their products, but I'm sure their products are just fine if you apply them at the correct rate. Moro asks, will the links you post in the live chat be accessible afterwards? Yes, they will be. So all the links that I'm talking about that I'm discussing, once this is done tomorrow morning when this goes live, because it takes a while for YouTube to actually process the video. Tomorrow morning, if you look in the description for this video, you will see the links to everything I've talked about. Because I keep notes as I'm going along, like what I'm talking about, what I'm recommending. There will be a section, I'll call it like products discussed in this live stream, and in there you can see all the links to all the stuff that I'm talking about. So I put some of the links in here as we've been going along. But if you're going to follow up later, if you want to reference it later, I'll have all those links in the description as well. So absolutely, I'll have you covered, man. Have you covered. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? Lee Harrigan says, why the True Cut? I hate the thumb drives. Have you tried a McLean? I'm with you on that a little bit, Lee. So the True Cut, it does take a while to get used to the thumb drives, but I like being able to have the drive system fully engaged, the reel system fully engaged, and be able to slip that clutch to kind of control how fast the mower moves. Once you get used to it, it's really great. It's a great mower, but I do agree with you that when you first get one, the thing that a lot of people complain about is that you get sore thumbs using a True Cut because you use your thumbs a lot more than you probably have to with other mowers. I've not tried a McLean. I'm sure they're great mowers. I mean, a lot of people that have them say great things about them, but I've just not. I've not personally used a McLean. I've had really good results with True Cuts. So yeah. But just yeah. I mean, if you have a McLean, you like it, stick with it, man. I mean, I'm sure you're gonna get. The big thing is. The long short of it is if the mower is sharp and it's set up properly, you're going to get a good result, right? You're going to get a pretty good result with any kind of reel mower. Really when it comes to reel mowers, when you start comparing like McLean, True Cut, California Trimmer, that is one category of of reel mower. And for the most part, if they're set up properly, you're going to get relatively around the same results, which is going to be an excellent result. Once you start to want to take things up to the next level, you need to get into like a greens mower. So that's where like your John Deeres and your Toros come in. Like with those, you are going to see a measurable improvement in the quality of cut compared to like a True Cut or a McLean or a California Trimmer. So that's really it. For those, you have like one tier and you have another tier. And like anything else, they just cost a whole lot more money to deal with. Let's see. Question from Shonda. She says, "Hey Ron, did you happen to find out why they're not selling Spectracide granular in the Texas area?" I didn't. I didn't know why. I think it's got to be the active ingredient that's in it. I'm thinking perhaps. I don't know why they're not selling it in Texas. But if you're looking for a pre-emergent, what I did do for you is you can just get protamine itself. Now here's the thing. This is not in a granular. I think this is the liquid version is what I'm showing you here. Hang on, let me show you here. This is a pre-emergent that you can use that's a liquid that's protamine, like that one that you can find. That's an option. If you want another pre-emergent that's available in a granular form, again, depending on your grass type, you can use Dimension 2 EW, and that's available in a granular. So that guy is, let me get a link here. For that is this. So those are two options. The first one I linked is going to be liquid. The other one is going to be a granular. So you've got two options for applying a pre-emergent, and you should be able to get one of those in Texas, I would think. So yeah, I'm not sure why they don't sell it, but those are two options because I was saying if she ever comes in again, I'm going to have that ready. So there you go. Those are two options for you. Hopefully that helps. Let's see. Balin the Hobbit says, Ron, did you know that Wimbledon tennis courts use 100% perennial ryegrass? I did not know that. But it probably has something to do with where they are, right? Because Wimbledon. I forget what time of year Wimbledon is played, but it's in England, so I don't know how well Bermuda would do in that climate. So I'm not sure why, but it's probably because it's a grass type that they can cut to that height, and is also green at the time of year when Wimbledon runs, when that tournament's on, right? So that's probably what it is. But yeah, I did not know that. Thanks for showing that. And then we have a question here from the Wind Chariot. Take a sip here. He says, sorry if this has been asked, but how often do you aerate your lawn? The Wind Chariot, really just once per season is what's really required. I do it, unless I'm top dressing, once in the spring is typically enough. So if you're going to top dress your lawn, I incorporate aeration as part of that process. But if you're talking about just, when should I aerate my lawn? Springtime. Like in the, depending on when it starts getting hot in your area, in April is a safe bet. If you're looking for like some guidance on when to aerate, when to apply pre-emergent, all this kind of stuff, if you go to ron-henry.com/golf-course-lawn, so ron-henry.com golf course lawn, if you go to that link, it's actually the one that's up there right here in the video, right there. If you go there, I've got a calendar that talks about that. So it talks about aeration. It tells you exactly when I would recommend that you do it. So check that out. There's a lot of other good info on that blog post on how to create a golf course lawn. Well, guys, I think that is all the questions we have, man. I think I've worn you guys out. I think that's it. I think that's all I've got. Well, guys, I really hope you guys have enjoyed the live stream. Again, if you are not yet a subscriber and you found this valuable, consider subscribing. I try to put out content regularly, definitely a lot during the growing season. The live streams are going to continue to be a thing, so I think it's been being very well received. You guys seem to be getting some value out of it, so I'll continue to do that. Again, my entire mission is to help you guys improve your lawn. If you guys have not yet hit the like button on your way out, definitely smash that like button as you guys are leaving, just to let YouTube know that, hey, we watched Ron's content and we enjoyed it. It was really good. Definitely show this to other people. And for any of you guys that had questions, and there were links that I posted in the live stream, things that I referenced in the description tomorrow morning. It's not going to be there tonight because this video won't go live tonight. Like, it takes YouTube a while to process it. In the description tomorrow morning, probably by 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you look in the description for this live stream, there will be links to all the different products that I spoke about in this video. So if if you're catching it later, you need a refresher, you'll be able to do that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Kevin D. Jones, I know the finals are on. I'm glad you chose to hang out with me and watch, or at least have me on while the finals are in the background, or have the finals in the background while you're here. I really appreciate you guys taking some time out of your day. It makes me want to keep doing these. If there's anything I can do, definitely feel free to drop me an email. And I think that's it, guys. Signing off. I will see you guys next time. Have an amazing weekend, and get out there and mow your lawn. That's one of the best things you can do to create that amazing golf course lawn. Until next time.